But at the same time, what he should have really done in that situation was after getting those two knocks, should have kind of tried to change his position because he knew his position had been given away. But trying to stay there, that is where that greediness really creeps in, and that doesn't really favor you. Things could have been done, 146 other things, but they decided to go with something else. But right now, Stalwart, look at Pika, the lonesome survivor. He's gonna get all those position points for him as Regicide decide to take over the police building over here. We've got to see how do they work things around. And look at that zone shift. Favoring absolutely nobody. But Team High Voltage has a really good chance of making it inside the circle before everybody else. If they could just play around the fences and let all these teams down south fight it around, maybe, the champions of SA could land a winning blow in the first game of the SA Championship as Knock Knock spotted out the players of Team Elementrix, has relayed all that information to his teammate Nocto, who managed to almost knock out one of those players of Team Elementrix. Indeed, Yetta falls prey to Knock Knock as Orange. He's gonna retaliate back, decides to lob a few smokes, wants to get that revive.
Indeed, and for now, it seems like he is going to be able to get that revive on his teammate. Elementrix is going to be standing with two-man army, but on the other front, for Regicide, this is definitely looking a really, really good game. They've got the numbers advantage, they've got all four players, and again, the nades, they just keep coming in. Orange, he's trying his level best from the side of Elementrix to be able to hold the ground, but again, there's not enough area for him to be able to, of course, find that cover, which in turn is definitely getting hammered on upon from the nades coming in from Regicide, and that in turn is going to be the end of course, Elementrix right there, where it was, well, none other than the Warriors actually stealing the point away from Regicide this time around. As the Warriors, they are still very much part of this fight. They are a two-man split army coming in with 7 defeat points for themselves. 5 teams remaining right here. But again, like I said, Regicide, they have the numbers working for themselves. They've got all 4 players standing, and the only thing that Regicide do not have is, sadly, the zone moving away from them.
Indeed. I mean, if that happens, then they will have to come out in the open. That is where the smokes really do come in handy. But High Voltage, they look to be in pristine control of the situation. Look at how they position their players. Look at where Jiggle is. He could be the one creating all that difference. He could be the one, if he just, kind of goes a little bit further, could really cut off the players of T20 Regicide if the zone shifts away. And look at that, just landing into their laps. And High Voltage in such a prime position as Ring. He spotted out IQ, who's right out in the open, who has no idea of Ring's presence, will eventually get picked off, as does have the ghillie suit also to help him out. But IQ, I mean, did a lot for his team, did manage to get those crucial position points, managed to get that 5th position at least, still keeping them in the race, as PE Warriors right beside the players of High Voltage. It is getting a lot more enthralling at this point, because now High Voltage, their positions well known to the players of DE Warriors, but we've got to see what do they make out of it, because Regicide, they have to come in, and at this point, Ring could prove to be such a thorn for them, because all he's going to do is just try to fend off any sort of attack that comes his way and get as many finishes as possible, as just sneaks upon the players of Regicide. And Knock Knock, he's got to pay a hefty price. T20 Regicide, they were doing so good up until now, just survived by the last player. That's going to be a shard.
Well, again, I mean, High Voltage has definitely capitalized on this precarious situation that Regicide were in. Jiggle, as you had mentioned earlier, was in a very good angle that he had kept, and that in turn resulted in, of course, Regicide losing out on the advantage that they had. Now left with only one final player, Shard, who is going to be finding a little bit of a cover behind, of course. But again, it is a one-man army that Rashad is left with, and all he needs to do right now is to die, perhaps, because the Warriors, they are very much in control of this fight. Even though they're just a two-man army, they're just sneaking their way through from one team to the other as they bring down the domination. They already know where High Voltage's players were, but T2K's Rig, now he has a very good position right here because of the ghillie suit. Also, at the same time, nobody knows where he's at, or my apologies, it seems like High Voltage Assassin has a little bit of an idea for that final play of T2K Rig, and definitely Rig is being sprayed on upon. With that, the Warriors themselves are not going to be allowed to stand true for long, because High Voltage Assassin, has definitely assassinated right there. That's the remaining one final player from the side of the Warriors, and now it seems like High Voltage, as soon as the zone came in towards their side, they capitalized on that perfectly, which in turn seems like this game could be theirs. This chicken dinner could definitely be theirs, as we are left with only 3 teams and High Voltage with a 3-man army compared to, of course, T2K's Rig 1-man army along with the Sneaks from the side of the Warriors.
Oh, indeed. It is high voltage's game to lose. But at the same time, there is a stark possibility that this can happen, really. Because the way Ring is just creeping in on them, seems like the chances have sort of diminished. Now, with this grenade, kind of gives away the position of the players of T2K if anyone has spotted out the projectile. But that does not really matter because getting that elevated position secures high voltage. This amazing winner chicken dinner in the very first game, ladies and gentlemen, of the PUBG Mobile Pro League South Asian Championship with a decent amount of finishes to their names. 6 is what they require and 21 points is what they have earned. And hailing from Nepal, High Voltage, they definitely are on High Voltage with the way they
Fala,
are
rapaziada.
playing. Certainly proved to be one of the
Deixa eu fazer
strongest
story aqui pra
contenders to not just
livezinha tá
win
on.
this thing, but also heading on to the GC. But this is again the first game, and I really love the way they approach the circle,
Já vejo o
right?
chat já.
Just maintaining throughout the edges, just respecting the zone, taking the fights that they could have, did not even overstepped even in a single moment. They played it to perfection, and as a result of which, they
Como
managed
tá a
to
live
get
aí? Tá
this
de boa?
amazing winner chicken dinner.
Absolutely, and this was very much needed for the side of High Voltage, because as soon as the zone moved away from Red side in favor of High Voltage, they knew what they had to do and they utilized that perfectly to get that chicken dinner for themselves. Definitely a good start for them. With that, we're going to go on that short little break. Stick around. We'll be right back with match number 2.
Pera aí. Eu tava conversando com o cara da Vivo, gente. Como que tá aí a... Deixa eu ver um bagulho aqui. Isso daqui tá pequeno, tá não? Vou deixar um pouquinho maior. Pronto. Deixa aqui já.
Hello and welcome to, of course, South Asia Championship right here, all thanks to Oppo. But we're just done
Vamos
with
voltar pra
one
ver a
game,
play?
and what a perfect start to the day this definitely was.
What I'm thinking, I think they might just be going down towards maybe those areas around Dead Eyes Warriors, not refusing.
Eu acho que esse aqui junta... Vamos lá, vamos ver aqui. Ó. É esse aqui, né? South Asia Championship. Dia 13, começou hoje. Top 3, ó. Os top 16 times, top 10 da South Asia. Ah, junta 6 do Paquistão. Caramba, o deles é $40 mil, mano. Será que o nosso vai ser também? Ou vai ser 18 de novo? ...24 quedas, 6 por dia. 4 dias. GG. Bom dia, Caio. O que tá acontecendo com a net de vocês? Cara, nem nós sabe, velho.
To leave a
Mas
military
já tá
base. Now,
GG,
this
já
is where
resolvemos.
the entire equation for ICE sort of
A gente jogava o
changes,
dia
right?
inteiro,
So
mano.
there is
20
even
cravado,
rules where they
cravado da
can
Vivo,
really
tá
go
ligado?
towards
Chegava
the
7
northwest areas,
horas.
maybe the
O
northwest
bagulho
part
lagava,
of
não
the
ficava
city. That
cravado,
would
mano.
really come in handy. But then again,
Tava estressando. Tava
not
fudendo
really
nós.
think you're not getting
Vamos ver, save.
You've got the no reply bridge, you've got the ferry pier bridge. Apart from that is the waterways itself that you could make your way through, and that's exactly what it seems like. Comfortable in terms of the placing that they are at on the other front, making a rotation for now are looking very comfortable in. But as soon as they little bit of, so we'll have to see if at all there we have
Nossa senhora.
perfect. Now this makes things safe. They've the day so I8 who are making a rotation all the way from Georgia Pole this time around, and on the eastern side of the map we still have Quantum Rage and Skylight Gaming still in close proximity at the because the zone is towards the military base. Teams don't have lot of area, especially
Poxa, essa já é quarta já, mano.
absolutely.
Nem mostrou a terceira, velho. Aí é na mal.
There's no way the ARS can make a more so to in a very good contestation, but at the same time
Não mostraram.
tries level best, but it seems like the blues is going to be down
Aí é
quite a lot
fogo.
as well, as now that perfect teams don't have lot of area
Ei, esse aqui já fechou ou vai fechar? Fechando, né?
available for
Salve, salve.
Some T20 QWERTY, they need
Tá fechando.
to go for the push. Now, his name to take that.
damage right now from the side of make that long, because again for T2
Fechou.
this is the opportunity done so great.
Só foi centralizando.
So we are left with only 11 teams 20 contestation for this game, as we do have IQ
Cadê
the
esse
final
Té?
player of I8
Esse
trying to run
aqui.
away from this fight. Thankfully he will be
Vamos ver o end. Não prestei atenção.
yeah, there we have it. That was the
Nossa.
could have been created, but of course
Voltou
definitely
pra
a way
cima,
different
mano.
from East right there.
I mean, at this
A
particular
negativinha
moment,
que a
I feel
HC
this
tem.
is really coming, right? He did manage to get a lot of
Não,
value,
HV.
trying to
Nossa,
deny his
confundi.
stalwarts an entry inside the circle.
True.
That's really amazing. But at the same time, what he should have really done in that situation was after
Só
getting
da
those
STR.
two
Mano,
knocks,
a
he should
STR
have
cai
tried
base.
to change his position, because
Esse
he
cara é
knew this
foda,
position
mano.
had been given away.
Total
Trying to fight
perca
there,
vivo.
that is where that greediness really
Safe
creeps
tá
in,
chato, hein?
and that
Salve,
doesn't really favor you.
Denis. Tamo junto,
Things
mano.
could have been done 146 other things, but they decided to go with something else. But right now, Stalwart, look at Pika, the lonesome survivor. He's gonna get all those position points for him as Regicide decide to take over. Really good chance champions of SA could land a winning to his teammate Nocto, who managed to almost knock out one of those players of Team Elementrix. Indeed.
Essa HV vai ganhar, mano.
Revive on his team. Known as
If that happens, then they will have to come out in the open. That is where the smokes really do come in handy. But high volt, because the way ring is just creeping in on them,
Nossa,
seems like
mano.
the chances have sort of
Ele não sabe que o cara tá
diminished. Now,
deitado
with this
ali.
grenade kind of gives away the position of the players of T2K if anyone has spotted out the projectile, but that does not really matter,
Ganharam.
because getting that elevated position secures high voltage, this amazing win.
I mean, yeah, now I'm taking over, man. Fix this. I'm gonna take over, okay? I got this, buddy.
Que vídeo
okay?
foda que fizeram
But yeah,
o
you
seu,
said
hein?
you
Curti
asked
demais,
me,
top,
was
né,
the
mano?
first game to my expectations? Of course, I am a lover
E aí, Caim,
of
qual bairro
military
sua,
circle, and
sua
that's what we
GH?
exactly saw, the military
Sou de
island
Mogi
circle, and it
também.
was played
A gente é de Butujuru.
as well. And I think so I agree with a lot of points that Fix has made over here. We thought the godlike Stalwart will probably
Fala, Caim,
have
bom dia.
much
Assistiu a
more
final da Copa do
of
Brasil, o que
dominating
achou?
performance, but
Assisti, mano.
unfortunately that was not the case. But at the
Jogão,
same
velho.
time, if you
Achei
think
jogão,
about
achei
some other
bem...
teams that I had
Achei
expectations
pau a pau
for,
o jogo.
which is of course going to be
Eu assisti o
Team 40 as
segundo
well.
tempo,
But
né?
now,
O segundo
Connor,
tempo
time to
deu
make predictions, man.
bastante... Deu pau a
And
pau,
which
mano.
team
Acho que
do you think
50-50 essa final aí.
is going to take
Oh,
this
yes.
one home, buddy?
Só que agora vai jogar na casa do
I'm gonna throw you
Flamengo,
under
né,
the
velho?
bus.
Decide
You
lá.
go first.
oof. This is a tough one. This is definitely a tough one, because again, on day number one, we definitely want to be able to see some really good plays from all of these teams.
Yeah.
But indeed, it is like Fixes mentioned, turning into more of a SA lobby, and Pakistani team have not yet been able to get
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
kind of performance that I anticipated from them. But hey, maybe game number two on this Miramar could be that changing phase that could be anticipated. So I'm going to go with I8. Fingers crossed, if at all they can get it or not. Well, we'll find out.
Okay, so you're gonna go with I8. So you're gonna go for a Pakistani team here. You're really expecting a lot from that region, right? So I mean, I've been looking at the South Asia region for a long time. So I think my first pick over here is gonna be from one of those. I want to stick to my comfort zone, and look, it's gonna be quite tough to pick one, but I am really thinking of going with DW here. I think so. They are quite solid on the map in Miramar. We've seen them
Ooh.
perform quite flawlessly a lot of times in Miramar as well. So I have a lot of expectations. But yeah,
O
if you are
patrocínio
talking about the
do
Pakistani
campeonato
team
deles
as
é a
well,
Oppo
which
Ace,
team you think
mano.
can
O Oppo
definitely
Ace é
be the one to
bom,
pull
velho,
off an
celular.
incredible chicken dinner here?
Oppo Ace OnePlus, velho, de Android
Well,
pro
so if we
jogo, são
if
os
we were to
melhores,
just
velho.
look at the stats that have been
Tem
created right
também
now
o...
in this
Não, é
lobby
Oppo
itself for
Ace, que era o
Pakistani
da
teams, I
China.
mean I8 they were
Era
left
Oppo,
with
era Oppo
thanks to
Ace.
IQ. That's the only reason why they were able to push themselves in the top five, of course, in the previous game. So yeah, talking about just the stats from today itself on this previous game that was showcased, it is looking like a tough question to answer or raise because
Yeah.
for now, like I said, the Pakistani teams and the entire Pakistani lobby that are part of this match itself, well, they are yet to get their feet dug in. They're yet to get warmed up, is what I can say. On the other front,
Okay.
for SA, all the teams. I mean, they're doing phenomenal, right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
way the rotations were being made, the way the fights were being taken, the synergistic approach that was showcased as well with the team that was remaining with only a two-man army. Like for example, we can talk about the E Warriors themselves, just a two-man approach, and that resulted in them working towards 11 eliminations. So yeah, definitely, I'd say that they are a little bit better set up for this.
Yeah.
But let's see if that'll be the case for game number two or not.
I mean, Blotter, you asked me how am I doing. I want to ask you, how are you doing on this wonderful day, man? Tell me. Let me know.
Well. Again, looking at all these faces, I definitely am stoked to be able to see them jump into the map of Miramar, bring in a lot of chaos and destruction and mayhem. But at the same point in time, we know that all of it is going to
Entende
be
inglês,
anticipated
Caio?
based
Sim,
off
mano.
of where the zone is going to be.
Exactly.
And where the zone is how we know that it is going to be
Entendo
a slow-paced approach
70%.
from this lobby or not.
Yeah.
But at the same point in time, again, it is the map of Miramar. It is one of the biggest maps in, of course, the competitive scene that we know of,
Yeah.
and that in turn results in well, a little bit of a slow start
Yeah.
to every single game on Miramar, right?
Yeah, that's what we call the podcast hours. That's where we share some stuff about life. We talk about some
Exactly.
life. We talk about some incredible stuff and maybe crack some jokes as well
Federal
while
leva
we're at it. But
MVP ou
yeah, the
não?
plan that
Claro
I
que
have,
leva.
it definitely seems like it is going to be quite good and favoring the majority of the team. So that's going to be good news for a lot of them because it's traversing exactly through the center of the
Acho
map,
que dá pra
dividing the
subir
map into two equal halves,
a
of course.
cadeira.
Playing flat path
Aí,
right
ó,
on top
agora
of
acho
the
que vai ficar
tower, of course,
massa.
starting it off all the way from southern side of Los Leones, ending towards La Cabrera. One team that is going to be quite happy over here, of course, Godlike Stalwart. They like to drop inside San Martin. Skylights Gaming 2, who like to drop inside La Cabrera.
Vamos ver como
So
fica
I do
agora.
want to see what sort of
Bom dia,
capitalizations are
fute
we going to see.
craque.
Now, in the previous game, I was expecting for a lot of drop flashes, but that was not the case. A lot of teams have decided to improvise on the fly.
True. In fact, yeah, that's so true because the teams have actually changed. Like, for example, if
Yeah.
we talk about I8 for that matter, on the map of Erangel, everybody knows that they are going to be going down to the military base. But this time around, they changed their strategy, they changed their tactics completely. And that clearly does indicate that, yeah, there's a lot more. Um, well, a lot more that we can anticipate from these teams because the
Oh
contestations
my
that were
God.
anticipated have yet not been cleared. But look at the zone this time around when we majorly moving towards, of course, the northwestern side of the map. El Pozo pretty much in the center. Skylights Gaming looking very comfortable. Same perhaps can be said for the players of Regicide as well. And talking about Regicide, they actually did have a pretty good warmed up match number one.
they
Então, os
definitely did.
preparativos pra
Yeah,
ser
Regicide
campeão,
were able to
tamo no
stick around
foco,
to each
mano.
other with a really long time
Tamo
inside
focado,
the
tá
military
ligado?
base, and I did see them in the final few moments too. Unfortunately, where they really did need to cross out in the open, I knew that's where things are going to be screwed up, of course, because you have DW in the front, and then you also have the players of high voltage trying to hold you off, and then you have TDK on the other side. There's no way. It's a complete death trap to try and step inside, or to try and step outside, actually, off the cover, and that's what exactly happened. Regicide fell prey to that entire trap. But now, if you do focus inside this game, one thing I've noticed over here, T20 Cordy, and if I'm not wrong, they like to drop inside San Martin. So this is going to be quite a different approach coming in from their side. This time they dropped all the way down south.
Ah,
Lauren.
live location.
They have changed the drop location completely. They do not want to mess around with a team
Da
like
hora.
God, like
Ele
Stalwart.
pega o
It makes a
spot
lot of
dos
sense
times,
too,
ó.
because right now the momentum definitely should be favoring the
Coloca.
players of God,
Da
like
hora isso
Stalwart.
aqui,
And
mano.
as you were speaking about the
Que
jitters,
eu já
this can
vi lá.
definitely be
Onde
a
esse time cai? Tá lá,
clear
ó.
indication of that.
Los Igos, Impala. Massa, mano.
Indeed, along with that, it seems like a first blood situation right here on our screens from the side of course, DRS. Yantei right there.
Cara, por que os pros não usam autocoletar? Mano, normalmente a gente coloca autocoletar quando a gente vai cair hot drop, tá ligado? Quando alguém cai no spot, vai ter trocação close, aí compensa por autocoletar.
That point in time they had a fight against Skylight, which resulted in again their numbers just dwindling down. And this time, once again, Quantum Rage not having the perfect start as they are.
Mas não é todo mundo que não usa não, tem ideia. Acho que tem gente que usa sim. Eu usei um tempo, mas fica pegando muita coisa assim, sem... A gente não precisa, tá ligado?
Maybe this lobby is a bit too much for them. It seems like no matter where they go, what map they go on, they are finding themselves in the crosshairs of their opponents.
I mean, it's funny how
E 8
it's funny how they've been quite
STE,
consistent in
mano.
the Pakistan region, and now
Bom
they've
dia, Caio.
already
Onde está a
started
cidade
this
GH?
tournament off with a
Mogi das
complete
Cruzes.
handicap mode. In the first game too, as you said, they started off with a
São
handicap.
Paulo.
I mean, I guess, yeah, they're still consistent. They are somehow managing to stay consistent. That's what Fix has mentioned, right? He said they always do have that one player who's able to sneak in that final zone. So they have apparently cracked the code. We can't just judge a team right off the first game, right? So I'm going to let it pass by. I'm going to let it slide. I'm going to be like, okay, it's just the first game. Maybe they're trying to get rid of the jitters. As you said, facing teams from South Asia, I mean, which the teams that I'm talking about are, of course, the ones that I was looking at, DEWs, Skylights Gaming, Godlike Stalwart. I mean, these names are, of course, some of the names that anyone would be scared of, right? So it makes a lot of sense, too, when you're going to be stepping inside the lobby. Things are going to be quite tough for them, too. I'm not saying these teams are scared, but you at least need a couple of more games to shake off those jitters, because they have never faced against each other.
Exactly. I mean, so I guess we can actually talk about this from both the angles, right? From SA teams as well as from Pakistan teams, because they've seen each other's gameplays. And in fact, I mean, these are such big names that they have, in fact, played against each other as well. But every single time we jump into the battleground, it is going to be a different approach that that is going to be forced on you. Again, it could be based on the zone, it could be based on how you've rotated.
Tem cara ali embaixo ou tá do outro lado do morro? Ah, tá do outro lado do morro.
Which again kind of evolves the battleground every single time. And this time around, like you perfectly mentioned, they need, or both these regions actually teams, they need a few more games. In fact, perhaps day number 1, by the time we reach game number 3.
Cara, eu acho que pode pegar ainda a vaga da PMGC na final ou ficou muito difícil? Mano, são 28 pontos, gente. Se fosse 40 pontos, seria mais difícil. Mas 28 pontos. É uma win.
We can see, them go on ahead and
uma win já encosta.
Because right now, it's just a few teams that are jumping up in terms of creating those opportunities. Regicide, definitely one of them. I mean, the E-Warriors we saw, with just a 2-man army also, they were looking very, very good and consistent approach in terms of the aggressiveness that they've been able to showcase. So overall, again, like you perfectly mentioned, it's just a matter of time before these teams are going to start popping off heads on day number 1 itself, I believe.
I mean, it's funny, right? How Regicide really likes to
A
drop.
gente vai jogar com essa roupinha, eu acho. A gente não ganhou ainda, mas parece que vão mandar pra gente.
The players of IT now, there would have been a drop clash if they decided to drop inside Mountain Evo.
Nossa, é mais bonitinha que a outra, né? Essa nem jogou, pelo amor de Deus, muito feia.
And go towards El Pozo. So all the teams that have came in from the Pakistan region, they're leaving their initial drop locations at the bat. The problem here can definitely be is that if you're going to leave your primary spot, are you really well known off the fact that how to rotate from the secondary spot? Have you practice that well enough. Because, of course, if you are speaking of primary things, that's what you're accustomed to doing the most. But if you do switch things on the fly and decide to go on the secondary drop location, it really does come down to if you have practiced that enough as well.
Indeed. And you know what?
SKS
Another thing that can be
4x
brought on
Imp.
in this same
Minha nossa senhora.
conversation, Necro, is that maybe it's just mind games, right?
Uh,
I mean, this is game
Tá
number
cara
2 of the day.
feia.
After this Miramar, we are going to go back to Wrangle. Perhaps on the second Wrangle of the day, we can have I8 go back onto the military base. But maybe some mind games that they're trying to play out against their opponents. So
Yeah, man.
again, it is all out in the open because there's just not enough games that have taken place
Cara,
within
porque o
this
desempenho
lobby
dessa Super Weekend
against
caiu.
each other to be
Por
able
causa
to,
da
you know,
internet.
iron out the
Brincadeira.
flaws as to
Mano,
why
uma boa parte da
is
internet,
this
velho. Mas
change
a gente
being
não
showcased. But
tava,
definitely, I
tava
mean,
jogando
right
bem,
off the
mano.
bat, we can
Só isso.
definitely see that it is the
Não tava encaixando o
Pakistani teams
jogo.
more so that have actually decided to, you know, change those drop locations
Muita
as
gente
we mentioned
fazendo
as well,
outros jogos
and
também,
which
tá
in
ligado? Outro
turn,
tipo de
again,
jogo.
it's kind of working.
Tudo que
Let's
aconteceu
see
no
if that
Qualify, muitos times não
will be
fizeram
the same
também
for game number 2
no Super
or
Weekend,
not. On
tá
our screen,
ligado?
we do have, of course,
Muita gente
Maplex
testando o
Esports.
jogo também.
Now they had a decent game number 1. Definitely want to be able to see a lot more from
A
them.
gente não jogou bem, mas também não jogou mal, tá
Let's see
ligado? A
if
gente
the
ficou,
Miramar
tipo, na
game is set up for them or not.
40,
On the other
50
front, I
pontos,
mean,
assim,
God
de
like Star
média
Wars.
por
You know,
dia.
one point in time, this team was anonymous with, of course, Miramar and the performance that they brought on to this map. But this time around, it seems like tough cookie to crack, as they have already got one of their players knocked. It is Action. Not entirely sure who was the player who knocked him down, but Action. Well, thankfully, he is going to be able to get a revival. Here
Yeah.
comes Top to be able to, of course, still hold on all 4 players from Star Wars.
Speaking of tough cookie, I remembered something that happened in
É, a
yesterday's
Safe
rivalry,
correu
if you know what I'm
bastante
saying.
também, mano. Muitas partidas, muitas partidas.
But yeah, jokes for another time. As we have the next circle popping up in front of us. The chat's going to be so clueless. They're going to be like, all right, what are these guys talking
Safezinha
about? But yeah,
Norte.
something incredible happened
That's so true.
behind the scenes. If you guys know, you know. I mean, you guys are not going to know anyways. But yeah, I feel bad for you guys. But anyways, as we do have the circle popping up on our screens, of course,
Best
it's going to be
such as a
shifting a little
team.
bit towards the nothing side.
Este.
Inside the Creative Fields, of course, and Creative Fields can definitely be the prime spot, but again, it is tilted to another side a little bit more.
Tô em live,
So
tá, Daman?
the high ground areas near Creative Fields can definitely be
Tô.
heavily contested. Now, in the past, I've seen a similar type of circle, and Skylights Gaming is usually the team that
Sim,
decides to
arrumamos a
take the
net já,
control
mano.
on the high grounds, and that's what exactly is happening right now as well. As they do like to drop inside La Cobreria, this circle is favoring them, or at least they're having a bit of advantage.
My favorite such as a team, bro.
Definitely
Here,
do. I mean,
godlike.
you perfectly mentioned
Star
it. Outside
Wars.
Skylar Gaming, they already are
The
set up
best,
with
the
exactly
best.
what you said, which is going to be on top of the mountain, with a 2-man split that too. Which means that all the other teams that are making a rotation, well, they are going to be in the crosshairs of Skylight, that's for sure. Skylight Gaming will have
Aquela
team
safe.
formation. Now,
Aquela
we need to be able to
quarta,
see
quinta
is
safe,
that
mano. Que
information
foge, mano.
utilized and converted
Tipo
into
assim,
points,
de
which right now
45 queda,
are
40 fugiu.
10 minutes
Aquela
in the game,
quarta, aquela.
and of course,
Quarta, quinta
we've
safe.
been
Que
able
sabe
to
dar
see
aquela
quite a lot of knocks
closadinha?
that have taken
Nossa, nós
place.
tava de um lado, você fechava
No
do outro.
elimination as of yet.
Yeah.
Não é
Even
desculpa.
though the Quantum Rage's player was knocked down, it seems like the revival was
O jogo fica
brought
mais
to,
difícil, tá
brought to
ligado?
them as well, as we are remaining with 64 players. All the players in the lobby are
Posso usar isso
still
como desculpa, mas
alive. So perhaps
quando
only a
aquela
matter of time
quarta,
before
quinta safe closa, mano,
before
você
we
tem um
can
jogo
pick up,
alinhado
of
já.
some fight,
Se a gente
right?
tá de um outro
Right now,
lado,
let's
nós
see
tem
who have
que
made a
jogar o
rotation
jogo,
from
não
the
tem jeito.
southwestern side of the zone. And it seems like right in close proximity is going to be the players of Regicide as well. On the other front of the map altogether, we've got Laser from Venom taking shots against none other than Quantum Rage once again.
Now, again, this is going to be quite an interesting affair. Skirmishes are now definitely deciding to pop up inside the game as we have one of the players on the side of Quantum Rage falling down too. You mentioned this fight coming up. Now, Venom Legends, they've had quite an interesting journey in the PMPL South Asia.
DW
So
better
I
than
want to see
ST
what sort
at
of
the
conversion are we going to be seeing
movement.
inside the championship over here, because Venom Legends,
Yeah,
they have a lot to live up to, that's for sure.
I know.
And if they're not going to be able to do that, then of course the fingers will be raised onto them. Quantum Rage for now, again, that's going to be another man who goes down. I mean, they were able to recover that, the man who went down previously, but this sort of a start is really going to shake their mentality a lot inside the games. Quantum Rage now down to a
É,
two-man
mas muito
squad
pouca
in which
voz.
they only
Oxi,
have Sirius
tá de
and
boa,
they
pô.
only have Senior alive. quite a tough affair,
Vou
actually.
abaixar um
Cyrus and
pouco a
Senior
voz deles,
don't
eu
exactly know what
acho.
these two players that squad. Which is going to be quite
Aí.
exposed in the later phase of the game.
O
So
mid vai fechar.
yeah, the chances are quite low. That's for sure.
Nossa, mano, o cara subiu ali, velho. Subiu ali em cima é pica.
As we do have Venom Legends themselves now being sprayed on upon from the side of DRS Gaming, where Killer YT has easily been able to convert that into a knock, but it seems like a elimination point will not be provided to him just yet. But again, I mean, it clearly is indicating
Nossa,
the
esse
fact
T tá
that
bem
both the
demais.
teams are slowly getting closer and closer against each other, which in turn is resulting in, of course, fights that are being drawn out in the open, as Necro mentioned a couple of minutes ago as well.
Yeah.
But all of this now will be in the hands of DRS. Now, DRS Killer YT, he was able to spray to perfection, but again, seems like a laser from Venom
Aberto.
has been provided a recovery as of now, and it's going to be Ripson, who now, after having given that perfect, crucial revival, seems like he is under the bus as well, because Killer YT, he's got a very good position right here. The smoke is the only thing that's keeping Venom Legends players alive, but for how long? The flank angle needs to be created from Gangstar, but it seems unlikely for Venom Legends to be able to reciprocate the same kind of aggression that DRS Gaming is bringing to the table, because Venom Legends are at a lower end. They are at the bottom half of this hill fight that is definitely favoring Killer YT as of now. As move away, it is going to be the zone that actually will be forcing both of these teams to kind of take a backseat approach in this fight and focus on getting into the zone first.
As you said, taking a bit of a backseat approach. If you are inside the circle, then yeah, it makes a lot of sense to take a bit of a backseat approach. You don't really need to engage inside the
Galera
fight.
toda dormindo, cara?
Unless
Não.
if you have the
Geral foi
prime spot,
pra
just like you
academia,
mentioned,
mano.
Skylights Gaming. And as I said, this is what they really like to do, and that's what they've exactly done. Instantly contest those high grounds near creator fields, and if they already do have the high ground, one thing's for sure, they will have a lot of vital information.
É, esse modelo é bem. Esse modelo de final é bem. É o único, né, mano, que teve das regiões todas num dia. Que ia ser presencial, acabou não sendo, daí os caras fez um dia mesmo. Pra não atrasar. Arrumaram conexão? Sim.
Not a start they wanted. Now down to a three-man squad. DEW is not going to be a team. It's not going to be a thorn that's going to be way too easy to get rid of.
Absolutely, but the best part right now for Assassin is the fact that his position on top of this mountain, his position is so very crucial. And if he plays this card right, he can very well be the sore thumb standing out, or thorn standing out against the players of the E-Warriors. And not only that, in fact, Stalwart as well. As Assassin, as soon as he starts again spraying and mowing down those opponents, his position is going to be compromised. So he's going to have to be very, very careful as to how and when does he approach that fight. But along with that, Skylight Gaming, AJ with a mini in his hand, letting the mini 14 do all the talking right here, as he definitely has positional awareness of
Só centralizou.
entire squad.
Vai voltar pra STS a safe aí, mano.
Taking down the players of TUF one by one, where TUF, it seems like, is probably going to be the first team, right, to get eliminated.
Que safe, velho.
Even the wall of death is closing in now from the back. He cannot decide to just stay over here for a long time as the next circle have popped up. Again, just centering on up on the majority of the team. Skylights Gaming once again having the prime spot.
É, a ST tem que tomar cuidado de alguém chegar crashando neles, velho. Tem que chegar crashando, eles estão fudidos.
Where the players of DEW just shut down God like Stalwart. They were holding a high ground, but the possibilities of that repeating once again, replicating itself, is quite low. High voltage against the players of DEW. This exact fight happening once again, where DEW find themselves in a big disadvantage.
Levanta pouquinho sua câmera.
All sort of positional advantage. Of course, a lot of info to work with as well. Now, the information can definitely be quite vital. It's up to him how he wants to convert it. It should be delivered to his teammates too. Assassin, he's taking things really slow.
Ah, pega o mapa ali na direita, né?
Because he knows if he gets down, if he gets taken down on that high ground, it's going to be next to impossible
É o
to get the
seguinte.
fallen player back up. But right now, another fight's happening on somewhere else. It's going to be the players of I8 just inflicting pain and hurt on T20 Cordy as Khan falls down. Not a great news.
Well. They rise once again. The players of course, I8 right now.
Miramar normalmente sempre fica mais equipe viva, né?
Fone I8 are looking like
Comporta mais
they want to be
times.
able to get decent points from this Miramar game. They've been able to make a rotation from the south western side of the zone. That is where they are at as of now. Alongside that, high voltage again, a perfect approach right there, where Assassin drew the attention of the Warriors, and indeed his teammate just
Wow.
completed what was needed, and that in turn has resulted in the Warriors again at a receiving end, as they have been brought down to a two-man army, as one of their players was already knocked down, as we saw, Doc. And it is going to be very difficult for them to be able to get that revival. Along with that, it is going to be Quantum Rage getting eliminated.
Oh my god.
Thanks to T2040.
So
Seems
clean.
like I8 are having a lot of problems as well now. DEW. Geez, this is not what we
Ó, já
anticipated
tem
from the
12
side of
times
this
vivos já.
team, but it
Quarta
seems
nem
that High
fechou, mano.
Voltage got the better half of that fight.
I mean, they started off with a big advantage. They already had one player knocked out. DEW, they had all the advantage. I mean, not exactly all the advantage. The positional advantage was not with them, but still the players of high voltage, with the way they played, the micro adjustments, those movements, those positioning, it's just way better, man. One thing I really love about high voltage is that tactical nature has been their sort of like the main forte, and they have stuck to it since a long time now. At this point, T2040, they're getting approached by I8. This fight can definitely be quite interesting, but I8, they don't last for long.
Ouch, indeed. Turned into a 1v1 between those two.
Mafia
But
Ninja.
eventually it was I8 who got eliminated right there. But yeah, as you were mentioning about high voltage, definitely loved the
Meu
tactile
Deus.
approach that they brought in that
Yeah.
fight. Alongside that, we do have Skylight Gaming, who again, I mean, they're reigning and supreme with the position that they are at. They've got so much of information, and that now in turn is going to be resulting in them finally starting to take on those shots and sprays against the players of Magnet Esports, where Faster was not dropped down, as Meteor Ninja is just waiting to capitalize on that elimination point for himself. As we are left with
Nessa
10
play no nosso
teams
cenário, a
remaining.
IG ia tá bem, a VK ia tá bem. Quem
A little
mais?
replay of how things really did just go
Se a
south
Ryze
for
caísse, um
the
Water
players of
Treatment, eles ia tá
DEW.
bem
They try to
também.
make a play. They try to sneak up on top of there, but again,
Storm ia tá
lucky
bem.
takes a bit too much sound.
Drake
The
ia tá
players of
muito
high
bem.
voltage, the positioning as I was talking about, the tactical approach in that fight,
A 7 também.
just played to perfection. Absolutely
A
perfect.
gente ia ter que
Even
jogar o jogo,
T2040,
mano.
of course,
Pra
having a little bit of
cima,
high
tá
ground over the
ligado?
players of I8, things really didn't work out even for them. So a lot of unfortunate moments indeed. When you do have another circle like this, high ground's definitely going to be the main priority, and the teams that have gotten their hands on the high ground will of course have the main advantage. And that's what exactly is happening so far too. TDK now just pinning down the players of Venom Legends. They're out in the open. Venom Legends nowhere to go. They will also be running out of those smokes soon enough. The smokes will start to fade away. Two players go down. It's all down to Frag Boy now. Even Laser falls down. Frag Boy is going to be the only man left alive.
Aí,
But
delicinha.
also the Wall of Death is chipping away a lot of damage. He will not be able to out-survive the zone.
Esse morro é roubado, mano. Esse morro é muito roubado.
Along with that, it is going to be Venom Legends' final player who is trying his best to be able to hold the ground.
Não
But
pegou os
that
tiros.
will not be the case, as this team of Venom Legends also get eliminated. 7 teams in total do remain.
Não sei se seria STL, não.
They are
Não.
doing a lot
Acho
of
que
work
não,
right here
mano.
in this lobby. They've got a
Pra
lot
tá ali
of
na ST tinha que ter rasgado o
against their
save.
opponent teams, and that in turn is bringing them a lot of elimination points as well. But T2K, we just saw T2K is very close to where Skylight Gaming is, and if Skylight Gaming is not careful, they could very well be brought down from this high mountain of theirs.
Yeah. The wheels are not too sticky after all. Just decided to completely fall off. But yeah, now TDK, this is where the problems will start to occur now. Once you do need to leave that high ground and traverse down towards the low ground, you are going to be facing so many problems. Because when you're on the high ground, you're of course taking shots on all cylinders, but also doing so, you've already given your position away. So you are going to be the hot target in all the teams who are down underneath you. And that's what exactly happened. As soon as they needed to move down, TDK just got picked off easily. Easy pickings for the side of DRS, but now even DRS themselves need to make it inside the circle. It's not going to be that much of a
Nossa,
long game.
DRS foi
DRS
no
should be
time,
able to make
mano.
it in.
Jogaram muito essa queda, hein?
Barely squeeze in, but the next circle, it shifts away. It completely takes a hard shift right on top of the players of IHC. Not exactly on the top, but Demo's found himself barely on the edge. So he will
Vamos ver agora o que eles vão fazer.
for that, that's for sure. But we don't exactly know if the next circle, the next to this, is going to be on Demo or not. For now, things
Tomou
are
costa.
panning out quite interestingly as even Skylights Gaming, they're getting picked off. Nima is going to be the casualty here. It shouldn't be for long. Nima should be retrievable.
Well, this is looking tough. This is definitely looking tough for Nima right there. As we are left with only a few select teams, 5 in total. So again, a lot of positional awareness is being showcased right now from the teams. As Scarlet Gaming were on top, they were definitely bringing points for themselves.
Nossa,
but
que
now
lugar
as
bom que
they
esse TR
jump
tá,
away
velho.
from that
Cê é
high
doido.
mountain of theirs, it seems like
Cover,
they
tá com
themselves
suporte do
have
time
been
ali.
sprayed on upon, and their
Cê é
numbers have been
louco.
let down. As we do have God like Stalwart taking shots and definitely bringing a lot of hurt to the rotating teams. From on top of the mountain, Scarlet Gaming still has an opportunity to be able to, of course, bring down mayhem towards DRS Gaming, but it seems highly unlikely. As Scarlet Gaming, they are a little spread out. AJ, the closest one to DRS is Delta right now, but seems like they're going to be backing out of that.
Pega a altura agora.
What Scarlet Gaming.
Nossa senhora.
I did not anticipate them to be doing that, but that's what they've resulted in. And Mubdex to the
Oh
face.
no!
Ouch!
Oh no!
Oh,
Maptex,
that's harsh.
Maptex, are we having a little bit of
Nossa, se closasse na
what
granada
happened
ali, meu
past,
amigo.
or what's going on, Maptex? Are we going to see any sort of improvement?
Só duas granadas ali já morre todo mundo. Eles estão se separando.
Definitely something needs to be figured out, but right now, Godlike Stalwart top with the Mini 14 definitely is connecting a lot of shots. And now also mowing down fields in the front, just trying to find a hot target through the smoke, but he's not able to find that one. DRS, the one man's definitely knocked out, but just because they're getting peppered down by so many bullets, they're also taking a lot of hurt. Now they will also start to burn through a lot of meds, and they cannot keep on doing so.
Furi.
Stalwart right in the front. And yeah, the nade's going to be sealing
Já era.
Delta.
Da IS.
Godlike Stalwart, they just have a perfect grip for
Nossa
themselves.
senhora.
Front, two in the back. They're playing it to perfection. DRS out in the open, nowhere to go. One bullet connects.
Já era. Os caras vão torar ali. A altura.
DRS on the verge of collapsing.
É isso que dá ficar dividido, mano.
Well, and this is the moment that Skylight Gaming shine
Pegou um
through all their
time,
own
agora vai
as
tomar
they
engole
have
do outro
been able to
lado.
capitalize on the
2
position
caídos.
of so many individual teams, as of course we do have the players of Stalwart now
Meu
in the
Deus,
process
velho.
of AJ right now. With the UMP in his hand, it seems like the
Se
nade
os 4
way
vai,
hurt
limpa um
players of
time, depois
Stalwart.
pega os
They were
4, vai,
really
limpa
good.
outro
They were looking
time, velho.
very phenomenal in terms of the fights that they were taking.
Aí vai 2 ali, 2 ali, fica picando o win.
Seems like Skylight
Pronto,
Gaming,
velho. Perdeu o win.
they've upped the
Ainda vai
ante.
pegar, o cara da HC vai pegar top 2 ainda, ó.
To the face of their opponents with 10 eliminations already converted.
Mas ele sabe que tem um cara solo, ó.
Look at this man.
Taking the game. The chicken dinner is theirs and waiting.
But look at Demo. Still made it.
Vi, Cunha, vi
until
sim.
top 3. He's just waiting for even one more team to get eliminated, so he will at least secure the second spot inside the game. And I'd say we'll have a good start, or at least they should have the ball rolling in their court. Skylights Gaming. Most of the players are
Nossa, o
exposed
cara
in
não
front of
rushou,
Demo.
velho.
If he wants, he can definitely react right now, but it'll just
Vai
get
morrer
to a
agora o
position
menininho.
when if he's not sure enough to take him all of them out, then Demo will of course be taken out himself. I'm not down Demo's firepower. Of course, he has pulled off some incredible clutches in the past too, but relying on that clutch instinct is not a great thing all the time.
Nossa, os caras não sabem onde tá, mano. Ah, morreu. Pronto, 4x2.
And Demo shut down. I'd see out on the third spot, but still well done from the side of Demo to keep his position anonymous till the third spot. Decent amount of points accumulated. Now it's going to be the Battle of Goliaths.
Absolutely, as we do have Skylight Gaming slowly making a move onto the two-player army of Stalwart right now. Now the four-man gang of Skylight Gaming. Again, you pointed it out. You nailed it to the core. As soon as you saw the zone, Necro, you were like, you know what, Skylight Gaming did it.
Esses caras têm medo, hein, mano. 4x2, velho. Joga ali na frente do Skir com suporte. Mata, depois mata o Action, velho. Meu Deus. Aí tem que nocar um pra ficar 4x1.
This sort of a layout, Skylight Gaming is just way too familiar with this one. like to drop on the northern side, which is La Cabrera, and they exactly know how to play around the terrains.
Meu filho, o que você tá
And
fazendo?
that's why Skylights Gaming are easily able to traverse around this area, and now they're just
Jogou
able
mal
to
ainda.
secure this one. Yeah, final nail in the coffin. The last man falls down, and Skylights Gaming, an easy piece of cake for this team. They get this chicken dinner, and they make it look so easy, just like the champions. And Skylights
Jogaram
Gaming,
muito a queda, velho.
second
Podia
game
dar merda
of the
ali.
day, with a
Lá em
notch
cima.
boost for themselves, and they've already
O
taken a
cara
first spot
tancou.
in the overall rankings, Potter.
Absolutely. 13 eliminations, 28 points in total right now from this game. Skylight Gaming definitely just utilized it to perfection with the way the positioning was set up from Skylight Gaming. It was immaculate.
Yeah.
And they had to get the game for
Deixa eu ver se tá
themselves. And
tendo.
for a moment though, I was a
Acho que
little
tá tendo outra
worried about
PMPL, ó.
Skylight Gaming because the
Pá.
way they actually moved
Tinha
away
muita
from the
live
DRS fight,
mostrando aqui.
it seemed like things are turning away from them. But what a perfect
Sotiasa. Tá tendo
cover, and then again
Soutiest
just
Asia
bringing down
também.
a lot of players from their position
Cadê em
and turn,
inglês?
of course,
Aqui.
got them the
Vamos ver os
chicken dinner.
times.
Along with that, of course, we'll stick around. We're gonna go on a short little break afterwards.
Acabou, será?
Talk more about this game and
Acabou.
matchmaking.
Enquanto não começa, vamos assistindo. Ah, aqui é lá da Tailândia, aquela área lá. Vou olhar. Olhar as plays de hoje. Quem foi bem, primeiro dia. 5 quedas. Não, dei 2 já. Dei 2. Meu time tá jogando. Lagou aí? Não, voltou. Infinity, Bacon, Geek Fan, Aero, DX. Box. A Vampire tá jogando também. Vamos ver play.
And
Subiu.
every other team, they're fighting for this hill. We understand why they're battling for this huge control over the course of the peninsula, and we're already seeing big in time. All decked out, and they usually loot plenty over in the corners of Sami.
Trollou demais. Tá.
At least start off with the vehicle that he has. For me sports, they were allowed the entry into the island.
Vampire já morreu.
Getting past the ruins, but Tainan is where the fight's gonna be at. Box Gaming booked themselves the perfect location.
RG Painan.
Back to that point, right? Yeah, United.
Nossa, no como,
LD, the team that you're eyeing on to be able to push out the map. But that they go to.
Phase 71, GD 61, AR 61.
Bit better. If we take a look at the top three eliminators, once again, Muzi as well as Tony K. It's only 5 points to separate these two gentlemen, and we got Shirties
Esse
and
cara da Infinity é agressivo demais, velho.
Face Clan wasn't playing. Yeah.
Será que a Safe vai voltar, mano? Tá tendo indie game pra caralho aqui. Ó, esse aqui já fecha, será?
It's owner base cover, but it's Infinity that approaches the scene. Elder Eagle gets shot from. Oh,
É, centralizou.
Geek Fam! They were the ones to take out Elder Eagle. Now they're looking for DDD as well. Geek Fam looking extra ferocious today.
Nossa, velho. Aí é na mão, hein? Aí é bom demais pra nós.
After a good round in South Sana, regaining
Aí, por exemplo, quer ver, rapaziada? Ó.
on each other
É.
as the circle will close deeper into the areas of North St. Martin, just by the outskirts of Hacienda's
Time pra caralho, mano.
wall treatment. They'll be alone for now. Hopefully they gain from them. Same goes to players coming out from Muzi, just hoping to move.
O High Boy aí, ó.
The only
Teoricamente, essa safe seria boa pra gente.
against Box Gaming. More numbers they take
Quem ganhou?
from the side
Boom?
of Box Gaming. Excuse me.
Boom ganhou.
More
Boom ganhou, mano. Boom bateu na favelinha. Deve ter fechado nesse aberto. É, se eles dominam a favelinha, eles têm controle disso aqui tudo, ó. Aqui, ó, todo mundo aqui vai trocar, morrer, vai chegar um time quebrado aqui. Infinity vai tancar. Esse time vai ter que bater aqui. Esse time aqui, mano, tá fudido. Vai ter que jogar no aberto aqui no skip e trabalhar smoke depois. Vamos ver.
Oh, commotion happening inside of St. Martin. Then he falls to Tony K. Ready to make that push.
Nossa.
Harm as well goes down. There goes that drop of takedown. Taking time, they will basically pile on the weak, but the
Nossa.
Tony K with a sliver of health left. That might just be the end of it. Beer 11.
Ó o Betty.
Player that was introduced into this
Betty era da...
run outskirts out into the open
Me
field
chama o time,
fields.
porra.
And what can they do? FaZe Clan now on the run. While Big Time trying to make a move. It's FaZe Clan being picked off.
Que tinha o cara lá da... O D2E, o G9. Esqueci o nome. RRQ.
Are now forcing the move. Oh my goodness, dying noisy. Two times in a row, aiming for the head.
A Boom foi pegar a skill na direita, ó. Melhor fizeram certinho. Um deles lá ficou aqui, ó. Seria eu. 100 kills, 3 matando aqui, ó. Fechou pra Boom. Já era, GG, filho. GG.
Boomy's work though, 4 players still intact. They can fight Infinity if they want to. And I think they're very well prepared for battle. Oh my goodness, getting shot by Boom.
Nossa, teve uma pausa gigantesca aqui, mano. Caralho. Miramar de novo. Tá. Tá bom, por enquanto tá bom.
So I think the chances of that is rather low, if anything at all. Torre, Cristobal could be the case. So
Deu uma descida, deu um susto na rapaziada. Mas ia ficar de boa.
I thought it was a V.
No, it sounds like a movie name, like Bacon Time, Guerrilla Warfare. Speaking of Guerrilla Warfare,
Oh.
Damroot gonna be opening up onto Namshin over there. Damroot immediately taking him out because
Valley of Death.
yeah,
Ah, teve um padrão desse aqui na PMPL, que nós perdeu. Fechou aqui, lembra?
right there, where you have players playing from two sides, but for the members of
GG.
Sem9, they want to at least get something
O grande
out
foi
of
o
it.
Andy.
Oh, Fox is at the very
GG.
least will be
Mano, se aquela terceira, quarta closa, mano, a gente vai estar no end, velho. Tem jeito.
You're not
so Gakka to so they will be making of their run. What do you seem to identify to be problematic? Deeper towards the southern prison area.
Fechou.
Many of these teams are already located by the corners of Delta, DX79, PM, all into the battlefields as we see Rem United planting themselves onto the lumber yards itself. Esports have a lot of safety net by
they're still trying to figure things out. And I think we can speculate as much as we want about Sem9, but they are a team, as I said before, they're a team that has a lot of pressure on their shoulders.
get by. Because many
Essa é
of the
uma
teams
play
will know
difícil.
PM United commit, but everybody else
Essa é uma play
then
difícil,
have to fight
rapaziada.
Infinity, have to fight Rem United,
Essa é
and in a
team
way,
play bala.
Already will be Sem9 with the other harm. Actually bite them back in the butt. Putra coming in from the other
Os caras
side
não
with
abriu o
a
mapa
small
não, mano.
farm. But
Acho
the
que
problem
abriu.
is the repositioning
Acho
from
que travou.
4Rivals is making it so hard for them. They want to
the early stage
É. Isso aqui é uma play difícil, rapaziada. Esse aqui é jogo, bala,
pull quite
limpando o
strongly.
time, dando turn, não tem
So
jeito
the
não.
arrival of four rivals have deterred them from pursuing for it. And you know who gets the last laugh? The
Ah, no
winner
finalzinho eles
because
mostram, ó.
he's still alive
Tum, tum,
and
tum, tum,
let four
tum.
rivals know that they are
Tô
around.
moscando.
Infinity as well as Verb United, they
Já vem no
started
final
their
aqui.
goal with so much better
Oxe,
position.
Choteirão já no mesmo lugar, safe,
But this
velho.
time around, Infinity says, you know what,
Que
Verb United,
isso?
you have to kill. I'm taking the lower ground. PM United is going to do exactly the same. Now their ego moving in from the very far corner of the south
Oxe, eles
side.
não fizeram a última queda, o
They will
negocinho? Ah,
see
fizeram.
eventually.
I said that this is a second
Ó, quem ganhou
second
foi a For Rivals. For Rivals que é o Rozok. Top 2 Bacon. Cadê Bacon?
Yes.
Ah, Bacon caiu lá em cima, ó. Olha só. Caiu o Rozok, um time, ganhou a queda. A Bacon caiu lá onde a 7 cai, ficou em segundo. Com 4 kills, né? Deve ter sobrevivido, se pá. A Bru caiu novo. Ficou em terceiro com 14 kills. E a BN cai farm. Pegou quarto com 2 kills.
four rivals took that in
Não,
stride.
a BN caiu farm e foi pra Lipovka.
And you know, like with
Ficou
Infinity,
parada
they
ali.
have 9, but overall, four
Fechou.
rivals,
Forever se
they
movimentou ali.
didn't really show that
A
great
Forever jogou
performance
muito, mano.
in the worst way
Forever jogou
possible. Thermal
muito.
runs, they did well. Inside of Erangel, they did even better. And you saw they were trailing right behind
Foi
them
full
in
bala, ó.
the
Tudo,
map.
tudo. Ué! Que isso? Que isso? Forever pegou, rasgou, bateu aqui do outro lado, mano.
For some reason, they managed to get past Ruram United,
Tinha ninguém no mapa, é?
and that's also how they have lost
Que
members to
isso,
that fight.
cara?
They took this fight
O
on
cara ganhou
the
solo.
side, and if this one-man army has taken everybody on board. Took out Max Sheldon too, by the way.
O cara
And that
ganhou
is
solo, mano. Não, não. Esse endgame aqui eu tenho que ver.
of Burak
O que
United.
aconteceu
I
aqui, meu
love to see that.
Deus?
You know, when you're
O cara ganhou o solo, rapaziada. Ah, essa Bruna então jogou mal, mano. Tá tudo na safe, tá 3 vivo. Abrir o cu. Esse Kangzo aí é bom, mano. Esse Kangzo aí é bom. Ele foi MVP de presencial já na Tailândia. Não lembro que time exatamente ele jogava, acho que era box. Tô acreditando que o cara ganhou não, velho. Bom dia, Lil Boy.
For Max, it felt like he was just trying to wait for the final moments, but because he wasn't very proactive, his position has been actually spotted out because Api was shooting toward him. Regardless, Amstel, not afraid to move very, very noisily, repositions himself,
Que dia começa o campo de
and
vocês?
slowly
Sábado.
making his way toward Baku time. This is a good thing, by the way.
Final.
It's
Um dia.
teams with the most amount of numbers that fight
Um dia e um sonho.
Yeah, he's running. He's speaking
Era
about
Team
the sweet
Secret,
spot.
isso. Era Team Secret. Kangzo jogava.
See, you know how why I said earlier
Certeza que
that
alguém
this
foi
is
nocado no carro ali, mano. O cara foi nocado no carro, velho.
like such a different team to and this is very, very scary as Buram United will wait for everyone to clock into their process.
Olha lá. Nossa. Nem fudeu. Weekly Rank. Ah, rapaziada, lá é diferente. Lá eles vão jogar uma Week, tá ligado? Se eu não me engano. Quer ver? Aqui já acabou, Gal. Aqui voltou já? Opa, já começou, hein? Começou agora.
Tournament to win, right? We are not seeing any
Vamos só olhar
repetitive
aqui.
chicken dinners so far. I mean,
Ó,
new
sou
chicken dinners
Chest
have come
Asia.
in from the
Acaba dia
few games that
23 de
we've had, but
outubro.
some things are constant. That is
O
Quantum
deles é
Rage
longo,
being
mano.
very stubborn,
Eles
you know,
têm
in
League e
needing out
Finals.
on Yasnaya, and that is where
Ó.
they want to drop at. And I think this time things are a little bit different because
É,
HyperX
lá
really
é a
know what
peneira
they're dealing with.
bem.
And it is smart
É
for
bem
them to also,
peneirado
kind
lá,
of
mano.
have that little bit of a comfortable
Final,
spot to, loot around. Because
3
again,
dias de
you can never
MD6. E
really,
tchau,
be
obrigado.
complacent about the fact that Quantum Rage is also one of those
Deixa eu
teams
ver
that has
quantas vagas aqui é
qualified
pro
their way in.
MGC.
It's not a gifted slot for them, so you can never really
5.
undermine your opponent, and there
5
could be
vagas pra
chances where you
PMGC.
could have casualties. So
Tirando
it's a good
quem já
decision
tem
by the players of
classificação pra
HyperX just to
PMGC
back off a
aqui,
little bit,
pelo
get their
PMGC
loot done,
Points,
and once they
vai
are well
ceder a vaga
equipped,
pro sexto, pro
and
sétimo, pro
then they
oitavo.
can
Ou
start
seja, pode
rolling.
ir até
But for now,
10.
the way things have formed, again,
Porque
it
se
looks
esses
like to
5
be a
que já tem
two-web circuit.
classificação
Now,
pegar
two-web have not had the best of starts, right?
esse top
In the
5,
game
ele
of
vai ceder pro
Valorant, we
sexto, pro sétimo,
saw
pro
them,
oitavo, pro nono e pro
going
décimo.
off for
Ou
that
seja,
bridge camp.
10
Did manage to get a lot of players of
times da
IFC, but not an
Sou
effective
Chest Asia.
result was visible from their side.
É, meus
In the
amigos.
second game, however, they were the first
É
ones to get
jogo.
taken down out of the lobby. So that was a concerning situation. Now, this is the game where they have to redeem themselves, where Uzum is out for a stroll in his bike, just
A
around
câmera
the
tava na
serious.
frente, foi mal, rapaziada.
And I mean, at this point,
Mas deu pra
what
entender,
can
eu
he
acho.
do, right? Barely out of option, does not have any meds to work around with. All he can do is just try and hide, or maybe get a few sneaky
Mas esses times da Tailândia
eliminations
estão bem demais, deram
for
uma surra nos
himself.
chinês, sim,
But
sim,
that
velho.
being said, so many of the
MGC vai.
Pakistani
Ó, a
teams.
Caloi. Caloi
But
10 aí, ó.
we'll leave that aside for now. Bicycle model X2. It is. It does look like an MTB. Does it have gears?
Freia a disco e
Does
tudo,
it have
fi.
gears? Doesn't look like it. Or maybe it does. I mean, are you into bicycles, Lotta? Because I for am.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. I definitely do enjoy a stroll pretty much every single night actually.
Oh.
In fact, I just the other week have started this cycling, I don't know what to call it, but 100 days 1,000 kilometers. That's what I'm working towards. Every day has to be minimum of 5 to 10 kilometers. Yeah, I'm very much into getting into cycling.
I mean, I love it too. The sort of
And I'm loving.
yeah, I mean, de-stresses you out, gives you time to think. It's just like, taking a walk in the park. And, cycling has its own way. And especially during the winters, it's a whole different feel. And, I mean,
Sim.
Oh
we
yes.
just live nearby. We could go on our own cycling soiree if you're
É
interested. I
isso aí
mean,
que o Alex
I could
falou,
be,
mano. Os
if
caras têm mais água porque eles
that
sustentam o jogo.
is suitable to you. But not enough
Cycling
about
partner, mate.
Só
Cycling partner.
de
cycling partner.
PMGC
Just
Points ser 2 vagas aqui pro
clarification, it's
Brasil
all
já é
platonic.
top, mano.
But for now, I mean, considering how this entire circle has really panned out, Mabitex, they kind of seem to hold on to the center of the circle. Now, Mabitex, they were really doing well till the SG Storm really hit them, right? Just, it was a manslaughter. Absolutely. Just driving over them.
was.
They barely had any choice. They barely had anything to work around with. But, coming back to the discussion that I was really having, T20 QWERTY also did manage to change their drop location to where Pablo used to land earlier. I think in the map of Miramar, they went down towards Valadimar. Did not really want to take that fight against Gordel Stalwart. And this sort of, raised the points fingers at the Pakistani teams, as in, are they really
Que
scared?
jeito, Wesley. Tem
Because
jogo, mano.
from their actions, that is what sort of is in front of us. Or maybe they do not want to take chances. But
Yeah, yeah.
this is again, playing outside your box. This is like, playing outside your own turf, and that is for sure, for starters, not working out for them. Whereas the teams from SA, they're really just having a good time, because from the first 2 games, all we have witnessed is
Yeah.
an SA domination all along.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, yeah, I think you hit the nail perfectly down to the core when it comes down to the way Pakistani teams are actually approaching today's day number 1 in the SA Championship. It is looking like a little lackluster performance coming in from their side. Also, at the same point in time, I mean, it wouldn't really be too far out to say that maybe they are a little backseat benchers, perhaps, is what I can say right now. But again, that could all be mind plays. That could all be an
Isso é
approach
foda,
that
hein,
has
velho.
already been strategic in terms of they
Trocação,
want to be able to
trocação.
understand their opponents in the lobby, and day 1 is just set out for that. But right now, it's going to be TUF who have been, of course, spread on upon. It's going to be Maptex bringing in those shots and elimination points in their favor, as we do have Maptex's player also going down. Leo is down. That means it is a 2v3 situation between, of course, Maptex against the 3-man army of TUF, where Thor, Joker Sir, as well as
Nossa.
Saad are going to be able to just
Tchau,
completely
obrigado.
destroy their opponent, and Maptex, just like that, get eliminated. Again, the approach that Maptex had
Já
definitely
arrumamos
is
o
looking
Wi-Fi
like
já,
they are in
galera.
control of the fight. They pushed on ahead and got the first elimination, where Edgar was brought down to his knees. But then soon after, QF just stood their ground and got them by the storm, as Maptex has been eliminated, the first team to get eliminated in this lobby. 15 teams, 55 players still remaining. With that, TUF, 5 elimination points already converted. Definitely a good good start to the game for themselves, as
Yep.
the momentum is definitely looking in their favor.
I really loved
Esse time é do
what TUF
Paquistão.
did, especially just Joker charging in and relaying all that information. Hey, 2 guys are over here, right above me. Just lob a grenade, and Thor exactly does that. Just blows them up. Now, the intention from Mabitex was clearly visible, right? All they wanted to do was fight for the center. Now, they were at the prime Gatka compound, which was there for TUF, right from the very start, because that is where they kind of tend to drop around, and all they had to do was
O cara tá
just
com
wait
12
for a team
M4.
to
Ah, não,
clash.
M16.
And of course, there was a casualty, and Edgar being taken down. That is, of course, not in good news for them. But again, this is something that they can live with. 5 eliminations for 1 player being traded off. It is fine. It is still a-okay, as long as the circle keeps on favoring you. In the meanwhile, IHC do have themselves stationed at the highest point right now in this particular circle on the Mount Everest. They've got a lot of vision as
Por que
the
nenhum time
messenger
mais
himself, Sandesh,
participou
gets
da
yet another
PEC?
knock.
Porque não teve, mano. A
This
última
is where
PEC que
things
teve foi em
get really
2020.
interesting, because
2021 ia ter no meio do ano, cancelaram. E 2022 não falaram nada. Não tem nada também.
doesn't seem to connect any of those bullets.
Ó,
As of now,
safezinha
Red
boa,
Side,
mano.
a little bit of trouble.
Provavelmente vai correr de novo essa
Little,
safe pra cá.
unwanted help coming in from
Não
TUF.
sei se volta pra cá, não.
Red Side can
Quando
actually
ela dá
manage to
essa
recoup it
fugidona aqui, ó. Ela foge, ela gosta de fugir de novo.
and just move on. But now Now, this circle is a little dicey to predict. Where does it go? Does it go towards the ruins? Or does it go a little bit down south, maybe towards the Pichinke Hills, where the RS are stationed at? Because the
Ó,
previous game,
a
we know that Scotland are
SG
new with
centralizou,
side.
tá
And
ligado?
Skylights Gaming,
Lugar
like
bom.
we said, were very well
Esse lugar que eles
situated.
estão aqui é
Look
bom.
at the Philippines, the only pawn I
Dá
built
pra
was
eles
that against
voltar
the
e
Pichinke that they have
manter.
to engage in. And the moment
Se...
they did that, they took control over that northern area. They have the high ground, for themselves.
Ó,
And that is the point where
encostou
they
outro
also
time
want
ali.
to
Aí
secure
dá
the
uma
center of the field. That
embaçada.
being said, now the circle has, in fact, become
Nossa,
a
tava
little
muito
bit
atrasado,
IHC
mano.
does have an advantage on now.
Que
So the
isso,
moment it
velho.
goes down south, you know what is going to happen, right?
Exactly. I mean, IHC, they're going to have to make a rush and run for it. And that in turn is probably the position and time where indeed IHC, well, again, the other teams, the opponent teams can very well just bring them down, can bring IHC's rotating team down. But again, that's all speculation as of now, as we're yet to find out what the zone is going to be doing.
O nível
One
dessa
thing is for
PMGC vai ser
certain, IHC, they've got
sinistro.
a lot of
Essa
information.
PMGC
Even
vai
on top
ser
of the
insana, mano.
mountain right here, they've
Porque
got a
vai
lot of
ter
information for a lot of
PMGC
the
Oeste
teams
e Este
around
de
the vicinity as
novo.
well.
Vai
They've
passar uma
got
peneira
TUF
gigante.
as well as, of
Nossa,
course,
mano.
Red
Vai
Side in front of
ser.
them. But are they going
Vai
to be
ser
taking down any shots?
top 16 aquela final lá,
Are
mano.
TUF or Red Side themselves
Pau a
going to
pau.
be approaching IHC for that matter? On the other front of the map
O
itself, it
processo
was
pra chegar na
ruins.
Grand
We do
Finals, mano,
have
é
Skylight Gaming with a two-man split against the players of High Voltage.
louco.
Now, High Voltage, I'm loving the approach that they've got right now. Again, we saw a very synergistic approach from their side in the previous game as well against the players of DEW. This time around, it's going to be Skylight Gaming. But who will be the one who will get that
Ela trava
early
um pouco
first
quando eu acho que quando eu
initial lead?
pauso, quando eu mexo o
Jiggle has
mouse
already
ali,
pushed
mano.
himself up front from the side of High Voltage. So he's probably going to be the one who's going to be, perhaps, if nothing else, baiting the players of Skylight Gaming. But let's see if that will result in any fight as of now or not. On the other front of the map itself, we have Magnus Esports' players taking on a perfect spray and nades to the face of DEW, where DEW and Magnus are in a relentless fight where indeed it seems like both of those teams are losing out on players.
Oh, indeed they are. And this is again happening east to Gatka, where DW are in a little bit of a pickle over here, as Talk 922 will cut on
Você acha
the
que o estilo
loss
de
and
jogo
move ahead,
da
or
Loops
maybe
ainda
just
daria bom pros
tonight,
dias
as
atuais?
DW become the
Com o
second
time.
team to get
Mano,
eliminated in this game,
é que
falling prey to the players of the Magnus
eu acho
Esports
que o
side.
jogo sempre
This is
foi ter
where,
team
it
play, tá
gets
ligado?
really interesting. This is what I was
Você
talking
ter
about. The
um time
moment you
muito.
step
Ó, desceu a
outside of the
safe.
turf, how good you are.
Nossa,
That
tá voltando
truly
mesmo, velho.
shows your potential. But
Puta
they
que
were clearly not
pariu.
prepared for it, just bashing in on
Acho que
the
o
doors
time.
of Magnus,
Mano,
and had to
hoje o
play
jogo
that
tem que ter team
heavy.
play, tá ligado?
Guys, in the meanwhile,
Não
Starwood,
tem jeito.
they're losing
Acho que
out on
sempre foi
numbers. You're
assim.
losing out on top now. That's
Você
not
não
a
tem team play, mano.
good
Por exemplo,
decision. I think they're
você tem
falling
team
prey to the
play, um time
players of
forte.
DRS, who have sort of
Você chega em qualquer safe,
obstructed their
tá ligado?
entry
Se você
inside the
morrer, pelo
circle.
menos você
Now
morre
just
com kill.
survived with
Entendeu?
action. I do not know how this is gonna pan out, because they've
E
already
eu acho
lost on
que
Scry as well. Now
daria
Teach can
certo
actually
sim, mano.
potentially think of pushing over action who's all by his lonesome for now. But you know that interesting battle between High Voltage and Skylights, that is where I've got my attention at, because if High Voltage get that information that Skylights are scattered, they are playing a 2-2 split.
Jogar
That is where
bait
they
em
can
Mundial
actually
acho uma
decide
ideia
to
pelo
push
fato
it,
da galera
because
punir bem qualquer
what they've
rotação.
really done that I liked about them is the fact
Se
that
você é um
they've made
time
sure
forte, igual eu
to clear their
falei,
backline. So
se você
they
é um
know
time
there's
forte
nobody gonna
mundialmente,
be
assim,
poking them from the southern side at least,
chega
and
forte,
they
tá
can
ligado?
have
A
all
galera
the intentions
respeita,
on
mano.
that northern area, where all they have to do is just try to push. With T20 QWERTY just being around the vicinity could cause trouble for Skylights
Claro que
Gaming. But
sempre
for
você tiver a
Skylights Gaming,
oportunidade
now
de
this is a really good thing
estar
if
bem
the zone
posicionado
chips
no
away from them.
centro, velho,
Now
é
this is
melhor.
where Skylight Gaming can
No
provide
mundial,
that
né?
essential cover fire for the remainder of their teammates to try and get inside the church area. But looks like the
Por isso que a
circle's
Nova
gonna
ganhou
favor the
duas
players of
vezes.
T20 QWERTY, who've got some good ridges to play around with. All they've got to do is just try and stay alive till the very end.
Não, se fechar longe, fazer loot up e tal e vazar
That
em
is
um
going to be
minuto,
very,
sei lá.
very crucial and, of course,
Acho que loot
critical
é essencial na
to
play,
be able to
mano.
survive for
E
as long
primeira e
as possible.
segunda safe não
Now, on
define
the other front,
nada.
it is going to be High Voltage who have been
Onde vai
sprayed
ser
on
o
a
end,
board.
essas
Malik has
coisas.
already been brought down. It is going to be Skylight Gaming against High Voltage. The fight
Acho
that
que
we
você
were
tem que ter um loot
anticipating
bom
has finally
pra jogar o
taken
jogo.
place, and it is going to be Skylight who seems to be much in control, as the numbers have dwindled down for High Voltage, as they are going to be losing out on the player Malik and also leaving their position, and Coast alongside that. Red side, their compound is being thrashed on upon from the side of TUF.
And boy, oh boy, are they prepared? Not letting a single soul pass Regicide. Making quick work of things as Knock Knock spotted out one of the players that is lying in hiding. Joker Sir is trying to spray upon the players, now has his positions compromised, does manage to get that one knock, could potentially get the second, does indeed. Now at a sliver of HP, can he heal up? No is gonna be the answer as he gets cleaned up. As TUF bow down out of the
Já
server
Frog.
at the 14th position. In the meanwhile, Action, just a lonesome player, still managing to get a lot for his team. Gets a knock, but still no finish confirmed. Gives that important information to the players of High Voltage in Action. Still standing strong, at least for now. High Voltage in that ruins area. Not just breaking out of the cover that they have built for themselves.
Essa igreja aí mesmo,
Open.
Léo.
Are the players of Skylights
Onde ele é
Gaming.
guito.
Now this is where the trouble really arises. If High Voltage decide to just, let Action do whatever he is trying to do and decide to go after the players of Skylights Gaming, this could prove very vital for the course of
Vai
getting
descer
this
esse pá.
chicken dinner in this
Desceu.
particular game, because AJ, he's got his eyes on the players of Quantum Rage and IHC. This is a perfect time for them to come downhill, which they are doing with a lot of panache at this point, because they have nothing really to worry about, nobody concerning them. Or maybe it is T2K and one player has fallen down.
Well, IC definitely has been dropped down, but again, his teammates are going to be right around the corner to give him that revival for IHC Esports.
Safe
This
de
is
aberto.
looking like a very good conversion, but that is
Quem
only
chegar
if
por
they can
último
stop T2K, because T2K, they are equipped,
ganha
they are
play.
prepped, and it seems like Sandesh is going to be pushing up front to confirm that elimination into a point for himself and his
Tu
team.
já ficou uma
as
screen toda
4
sem
defeat
mira
points have been
já.
converted for T2K
Campeonato
Esports, with
também.
all 4 players still standing, looking very much in control of this fight as IHC, slowly but surely, as they push on ahead from the mountain approach that they had, now going to be out in the open. So many angles that they can be, of course, brought down from. So many teams around in the vicinity as well, as we were talking about Scarlet Gaming against the players of Quantum Rage.
Ih, o cara tá
Quantum
sem
Rage
carro,
have
mano.
backed out,
Tá, pô, foram pra
and
cima, velho.
for now,
Ai,
Scarlet Gaming is going to be able to live to fight another
uma
fight.
HEzinha aí
But
já
as of
faz a
yet,
boa,
they
hein?
have a 0 elimination points. So it is now or never for Scarlet Gaming, because the zone is catching up to both of these teams, and Quantum Rage, they want to be able to, of course, define this moment for themselves
O nome do cara,
and for their
Tan,
fans against the players of Scarlet Gaming. But
Tan,
will Scarlet
Tan.
Gaming fall down? Will they retaliate, or are they going to be focusing on getting into the zone?
Jogaram final em BC.
Likely
Mano,
to
já
be
tá
the
em São
latter, as
Paulo,
they
irmão.
are going in
Tá
ahead
em São
to
Paulo
get into
já,
the
tem uma
zone. Same
semana.
is the case for Quantum Rage as well. So GG play being showcased from both these teams, but now once again it is T2K who's probably going to have the last laugh.
Oh, indeed. And now with this circle shifting drastically down south, it makes things so much tougher for all these teams that were just kind of hunkered down at that northern area. Now they all have to rotate at the same time. Gives enough time for the players of
Nossa.
IHC to readjust,
Esse
to
time que tá ali
readapt
em cima, ele
themselves
tá
as
bem, velho.
Team
Tem a
Elementals, they
casinha
have been
safe.
wiped out
Safe
from
não,
the
na frente da
server.
safe, que a
As
altura é boa.
T2K, they have to deal with threat from multiple different angles as Sandesh manages to find yet another knock, and this time he is just gonna
Essa granada vai
blast it through.
machucar, hein?
The squad of Quantum Rage already cooking up his grenade. If this lands into
Machucou.
perfection, could just blow a
Ai,
few bodies
no.
out. But look at that, just being driven over. Quantum Rage showing no mercy as Jane, he's being pushed at, or maybe not, or does he even realize that he's got bodies around? And at this particular
Tomou,
moment,
morreu.
he is getting shot from the backlines. It is going to be Demo from IHC. Again, being that survivor for his team. IHC still having 3 players alive this time. Now the chances of getting the chicken
Nossa, o time
dinner
tá
has
bem
gotten
demais.
so much more stronger. But at the
5
same
kills.
time, look at Uzum. Has managed to survive, has gotten his team to the top 8. But how
Closou
deeper
ali.
can he
Nossa, dá
dig?
pra limpar de
He's
boa o time.
crawling, he's scratching his way, doing whatever he needs to do to remedy the hemorrhage
Aqui,
that they have had to deal within the season. But for now, the
aqui no
circle
Brasil ia ter
is
47 vivos aí nessa partida aí, ó.
falling into the laps of high voltage yet
Uns
again.
48 debaixo da
Have
terra,
numbers,
uns 15
and
dentro
this
da
is the
árvore.
chicken dinner.
Tranquilamente.
Again, we know the players of High Voltage are cheeky lot, and they definitely can convert, but hold on, never mind that, because their numbers are going down. You were talking about how many players do they have? Well, it seems like not enough, because they are getting eliminated from the players of DRS as well as T20 Cody, and in doing so, it is going to be, of course, High Voltage losing out on this fight. With that, we're left with 6 teams remaining. Magnus get eliminated on the 7th.
Você chegou nessa safe aí, irmão, só fica quieto só. Espera a nona safe. Fica quieto. Deita, esmoca o pé e cala a boca.
Two teams who are looking very much in contestation for this game, for this chicken dinner. But can they do so? Because IHC, even though the numbers are not favoring them, IHC, slowly but surely, they've made their presence felt.
Esté já dormiu já. É, não pode deixar closar também, né, irmão?
Right now, DRS Gaming's rules OG. A perfect nade being brought on from his side. DRS Gaming is a little divided right now between two individual fights that they're taken with two individual teams themselves. In all of this, the only reason I bring up IHC is because they're being so very subtle about their movement. And if DRS or for that matter T20 Koji are not careful, IHC can very well pounce upon them, and that's exactly what happens right there, where Alex is going to be ripped
Se esse
apart
time
by
não
T20
fazer
Koji and
nada, esse
Venom
time
Legends.
aqui, ó, não
Oh
cuidar
yeah,
da
and I
esquerdinha
love
deles,
what
eles vai
IHC are
tomar no
doing.
cu, mano.
Despite, having just
Aí, ó,
taken
já
out
vai cair
Loi,
pra granada
they
já.
sent out demo solo, right? He has got that flanks
Ah,
covered, but
tomou no cu
hold
pra
on, as
porra.
DRS manages to get a knock onto its Voltrox. His position still not, given away, as Khan trying to fire a trade-off grenade. Does it land into perfection as DRS gets a better out of one of the players of IHC as 420 Boy trying to get inside the circle, going in for that push from the players of IHC as his plans may have been spoiled by the players of DRS.
Cagada, véi.
Just praying and prancing at his direction, making sure IHC will have
Esse
to
lugarzinho que o Killer
get
pegou é
these
muito
right,
bom,
as
véi.
DRS look to be in good control over this lobby. Killer doing so much from the backline, supporting his teammate Kyantev over here as DRS. Now they need to get that revive
Turzinho, vai
onto
dormir,
its
Turzinho.
rules and still have that circle, at least for now. But where does it shift next? That's the big question, as Team Venom Legends have also managed to, scrape their way in to the top 5. But the big question is, how far
Turzinho, vai assistir
can
umas
they go
lives aí,
from here?
Arthurzinho. Pra você. Pra você não rasgar na primeira safe em Poliana.
Absolutely, IHC get eliminated with 7 defeat points to their name.
Fila
T20
da
Koji
mãe.
just a minute ago were looking very much in contestation for the chicken dinner, but now not so much because DRS Gaming have put them through the rocker, and that in turn has resulted in T20 Koji left with just one man army. That's going to be, of course, 420 Boy, but his position has already been caught out from the players of DRS.
DRS
and the
ganhou a
need for it is
passada, vai
going to
ganhar
be
de
the
novo, eu acho, não
end
foi? Não,
of
não, não, não.
T20
Foi a
Koji,
Look at Uzum.
which in turn leaves us
SG
with,
que
of course,
ganhou.
DRS.
Mas pontuaram
Oh
bem.
yes,
Foi pro
oh
end.
yes, yes, yes. There we have Uzum as well from I8. All right, all right. He made it. He made it. Nice. All right. That's a good one. That's a good one. Now, see, this is what I8 does, right? I mean, IQ did it previously. This time it's Uzum. Even if they're not part of fights, they are definitely getting those placement points.
And if he's gonna steal a chicken dinner, I'm gonna lose my mind. And just to the audience knowledge, he had not
If
even
that
a
happens.
single first aid throughout the entire game. Now just dropping all these smokes off, gave off his position away, and it is gonna be in the bags for the players
GG
of
DRS.
DRS, the real soldiers trying to steal the chicken dinner all to their name. And in what fashion? This time it was a play to perfection. 13 eliminations is what they got to their name, and I love that little bit of a spread and Killer.
Nem vi como ficou a
showing that
tabela lá
killer
do outro.
instinct, providing cover fire left, right, and center, being so instrumental in all those fights, especially in the downfall of IHC, where for a moment we felt that this could have been IHC's game. DRS
Ó,
looked,
teve Middle West.
unfazed. They just rattled their enemies apart. First, they dealt with T20 QWERTY in a beautiful manner, and just when 420 Boy decided to strike upon the wounded players of IHC, well, Killer dealt with them as well. Tried and also provided
E a
cover fire
tabela
to
não
his
lembro.
teammate Yantev over there up top, and did so much. And towards the end, Uzum did survive a lot for his team, got his team to a very respectable position. I think, if I'm not wrong, till the top 2. And Venom Legends also, they did have themselves dig in a lot deeper this time. Getting that top 3 finish is what they needed, but things have spiced up so much with this game, especially with DRS. Getting this chicken dinner is obviously going to shake off the points table a little bit, but right now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to push for a short little break. We'll be right back after this.
Vai ser 3G. Confia, viado. Confia. Mano, Vampire, mano. 14º, velho. 44 pontos. Amanhã do nada eles ganham 4 quedas.
Alright, what a start has it been, and all thanks
Ó,
to
nice
our
shot.
sponsors, Oppo F21
O Robson,
Pro,
nice shot
I mean,
do.
amazing device. If you haven't
Da
checked it
Ásia.
out, what are you doing? I had my hands on that orange.
Sonhei,
color,
foi
and it
mal.
was sexy, to be honest. But now, talking about sexy things, this is a sexy player right in front of us, Kante from DRS. Did so much, was so crucial for his team out there with 5 eliminations, making it so clinical how this conviction really light. 562 points of damage, 5 eliminations, and look at the healing done. Did not really have to heal himself much. Got a lot of work done for his team, and this game was all about how the circle really shifted. Right, just when we thought that it could be a ruined circle, that is where the curveball was thrown. It went down south, and for a moment, it felt like teams like IHC, teams like the even T20 QWERTY were in good control over the game, and to be honest, they were. But it all came down to folly when DRS just come charging in and sweep the floor with that chicken dinner and the player focus. Brawlin finally
Galaxy ficou em
proving to
15º
be
ontem na
living up to
PMPL
his
6.
name. And
Cara,
still waiting for
vamos ver.
fast run finishes to show up though. But Voltrux also from T20 QWERTY, those 2 eliminations. But Killer YT and Rules, I love what they did throughout the game, especially Killer. For me, he was the MVP.
PMPL 6. PMPL 6. Aqui, né?
He
Middle
was, he
West 6.
definitely was. The way he was taking on those shots and sprays and of course connecting them
Vou botar isso aqui. Vamos ver. Que isso? Salve, Caixinho, você de Moçambique, sou fã da Inf. Salve, mano, tamo junto. Que qualidade é essa, pai? Não, 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 não. Tô moscando, pô. Envia safe.
They're going to have to give up one of their players.
Metendo a mão no nosso Corinthians ontem, hein, Caio? Que nosso Corinthians, irmão? Que nosso Corinthians, mano?
Titans.
Pô, de Corinthians, velho. Tá. Cadê a Enigma Galaxy.
Africa champs for the full season.
Yeah, and as we know, there's going to be quite a few exciting plays to come, right? As we can see,
There were two completely different before, so we can't actually see
Umbra.
what these teams have prepared for it. It's going to be up to the players. It's going to be up to the individuals or judge.
it's going to happen right
Fechou a safe, beleza.
then. On to southern side, also looking to find a little bit more of an opportune position to rotate.
Nossa, o som tá
into
diferente,
this, but it's
velho.
going to be a heavily defended
Que
territory.
isso,
as
mano.
Are going to have to rotate to get themselves set up for the next phase.
Ó,
Well, we'll
Oh.
find out soon.
agradável. Agradável safe. Interessante, hein? Interessante. É. Por que não acontece uma safe dessa aí, gente? No PMPL Brasil. Por quê? Me explica. Jogar fora do Brasil, velho. Vou abaixar aqui. Tá aqui, esticar no vai, Porto. Beleza. Porra, aqui da Mel os caras mostram certinho, mano. Todas as saves certinho. Viu o Barcelona 3x3 no Internet? Jogaço, vi, mano. Jogaço, velho.
Yeah, you got to do your all over the place. We still have a different approach coming through from them, right? Titans like to sip on a little bit of that blue juice before starting
Centralizou.
towards the zone. And looking at where the zone is going to be taking it, on those
Cara, tá fechando muito pra lá, hein, velho.
in that position that we can see they're coming through.
Muitas e muitas safes, velho.
I'm not quite sure what's happening. A shift a little bit down towards
Agora foi pro Water Treatment.
keeping a lot of pressure into that water treatment area, but for Kurdistan,
Teoricamente é do nosso lado, né, de progressão. Tá bom, tá agradável.
I do suspect somewhere around about that second, maybe even the third phase. But already we have the players there from Slime for KT and Falcon getting into a bit of an altercation, of course, right there in the Slime home turf.
Essa Falcon joga bem. Que bom. Estão trocando no spot. Falcon e Lima Galaxy. Fala, Kai. Nosso Corinthians ontem não fez. É, nosso Corinthians, né, mano? Isso aí, velho. Cara, o cara pegou o último carro lá já, mano. Que isso, velho. Que máquina. Isso foi ontem, Arthurzinho. Olha esse carro, mano. Que isso, patrão. Que isso. Vamos ver. Achei feio esse carro. O último é da hora, mano. Esse aí que o cara tá andando. Só que o som é meio estressante. Tá bom, beleza. Beleza, beleza. Safezinha acontecendo no PMPL Brasil, essa aqui já também. Muito idêntica, parecida, idêntica. Muito. Acho que a primeira partida desse fim de semana passado, eu acho. Não me engano. Parece que a safe repete, né, mano? Caio, as safes são padrões em todas as regiões? Sim, mano. Anima Galaxy, dando third. Ó, hoje a gente assistiu daí da Southeast Asia. Não assistiu? Bem parecida essa safe aqui, ó. O... Era um pouquinho mais pra baixo. Foi lá em Painão, endgame. Lá tem de Painão o bagulho. Ó, a gente já tá bem, GG. Aí vai lá. A gente tá mó bem aqui, né? Do nada, buf. Vai lá passar message. Hum. Hum. Ah lá. Ah lá. Não pode ficar feliz. Não pode ficar feliz, né? Caralho, mano. Essa safe tem que mudar no jogo, velho. Esse tamanho de quarta aqui, mano. Quarta safe, né? Quarta ou quinta, não sei. Esse tamanho de safe aqui não dá, mano. Trola muito, velho. Trola tudo esse time aqui, ó. Esse time aqui, mano. Ficar um vivo desses aqui é muito. Tá ligado? Nossa, não pode ficar feliz não, rapaziada. Mas ia tá aqui, ó. Onde fechou o bagulho. Vê se começou lá. Tá porra. Não. Vamos ver. Twist Annas. Really great yesterday. We accumulated experience in this PMPL here.
essential, absolutely key to the success. But there's
Are going to be migrating to the
right as we still see the players there from R8 Esports also on a slow, steady pace.
Tá.
Of course, they can just continue on their way.
Atualiza onde tava o share, não é? É.
Pressing on forward, Soul already has
Aí, ó. Beleza, beleza. Full BTR. De game. Tudo pra cá. Tá. GG.
longest elimination there. But, you know,
Cara, de novo ali.
eastern side, which is definitely a zone that we don't see all too often. It's close enough to what I was asking
close suite. We can for the opportunity to getting stacked upon stack.
Tá.
Oh, yes. I mean, we want to see those stacks, and of course, we can hear the vehicles in the background. Costly at the end of the zone.
Yeah, full what a powerful position.
Full na nossa casa.
Situation within zone and
You know, right? Those fighting on gold on back.
they've played a fantastic set of games, and now we look to see the rest of our 15
Sair da
teams
cidade.
try and find an answer to see who's going to be
Closou na
the
cidade.
winner, chicken dinner. They have a line of
They're going to be fighting.
Caralho, quanto time, velho, aqui dentro, meu Deus. Ih, esse time tá no end.
If they can secure themselves that when a chick coming in from that southern side
Tomou
as
engole.
well as the western side, beautiful spread, and this
Bom.
could be that opportunity.
Bora pra play. Essa safe ilude, mano. Essa safe ilude nós demais. É louco.
Profitable as well for all of these teams. But IHC, the spread out that has been showcased from their side. On the other front, it is going to be Venom Legends
Already.
who are going to be starting off destruction against the players of T20 Kochi. It seems like one elimination point has already been converted from Fragboy, and you pointed it out beautifully, mate. It is the DBS, the Hulk gun that is just letting T20 Kochi know that we probably shouldn't have gone down to this area. Because Venom Legends, they are very much in contestation. And in doing so, T20 Kochi are at a backseat approach from this fight.
Ó o gigante.
They are already having lost out on Voltrix. Gravity is going to have to, just phase out of this fight and hopefully survive to be a part of another one later.
I mean, not so well thought out, that's for sure. I can see that. This drop was not so well thought out from the side of Cordy. And this is the exact problem I said too, right? When you're going to be dropping inside your secondary drop spot, are you that well aware? Are you that well known of how things are going to be over there or not? And Team Cordy definitely did get caught off guard by the players of Venom Legends and already lost out on a big man, Voltrix. Voltrix being the first casualty. Team Cordy, definitely now their mental should be shaken a little bit, but that doesn't mean they don't have a chance anymore inside the game. They have 3 players still, and they will be equally harmful. But as we have Team Cordy again, Gravity is quite chipped out. Gravity cannot afford to be spotted out as he was swimming on the other side. It doesn't seem like the players of Venom Legends do want any more sort of a brawl against the players of Cordy, so they should be safe for now. Godlike Stalwart inside boot camp. We expected a drop collision, but that's not the case. Regicide's quite close. Now, the way the players of Godlike Stalwart like to play in general, as they're done looting boot camp, they want to go for the hill near boot camp. And they'll try to get the high ground and pretty much just play around it, secure as much as vital information possible, and then later on move on if the circle takes a huge shift away from them. But right now, corner rage against the player in the front.
Ó o Tantantanha.
Not a start they wanted.
Cadê as lives jogando?
Who right now, from the side of Quantum Rage,
Em breve.
able to, of course, bring down a player of IHC, but
Vamos assistir um
elimination point
pouco
has been confirmed.
os campeonatos,
A
mano.
big difference, or not difference, a change that can be showcased from the side of Quantum Rage's approach to the game itself. As when the day started off,
Salve,
they were the ones who
Augusto.
were
Obrigado,
actually
mano.
down
Tamo junto.
in the first few minutes of the game itself. This time around, now as the game has progressed on along, as the day has progressed on along, Quantum Rage are finding their pace. They are finding their
Oxe, deu uma travada na live?
in the background, which in turn this time around was showcased against IHC. But again, no point converted as of yet, but
Voltou,
definitely
voltou.
an aggressive approach being showcased from these teams in the
Gente,
map
se der uma
side.
travadinha assim de
Where once again,
frame,
when it comes down to the map
só
itself, we
esperar um
saw
pouquinho que
earlier the
volta.
entire map of Sandhawk has been covered by all of these teams, all these 16 teams that are playing. So
Ah,
still,
outra, mas o
each and
cara da
every
Vivo
single team will have
falou
an opportunity to participate in a fight.
que quando sobrecarrega, quando estiver
But
jogando multiplayer, a gente
an
não joga muito mais, né,
elimination
no roteador ali. Mas quando
is
acontecer
yet
aquilo
to be
lá,
seen as to
eu vou
what
mandar mensagem
team
pra ele que ele vai
is
acompanhar
going to
ao
be
vivo.
bringing in a
Mas
first
é pra gente conectar no outro mesmo,
elimination
5G,
right there,
jogar de lá,
or
porque aquilo ele
eliminating a team.
puxa
That is something that
e ele tem um
we're
limite
going to have to wait
de
for.
tempo, tá
On
ligado?
the other front,
Se a gente jogou o dia inteiro
if
nele,
we are to
chega à
talk about
noite,
the
chega no
center
limite de
of the
tempo, ele
zone
tem que
itself, we've got
zerar
TUF,
tudo e
we've got
tal.
Regicide,
Aquele modo da
and
vida
we've
ele é
got
infinito.
God like Stalwart.
Tipo, de tempo que tá
Very
jogado
good
junto, tá
positioning
ligado?
from all three of
O
those
cara
teams,
explicou tudo.
but being in close proximity to each
Não,
other could very well result
falou
in
só se começar a lagar, quando estiver
in
normal,
a fight
começar a
that
lagar,
perhaps none of them
começou a
are
lagar,
anticipating.
conecta no
At the same
outro
time,
lá,
my prediction and TUF would
de
want
qualquer
them
um,
to
não tem problema.
absolutely
Só que na hora
nail
que
it
largar, eu vou
and
mandar
get the
mensagem
chicken
pra ele
dinner
que
as well as the
ele vai
prediction
acompanhar
team,
ao vivo e vai saber exatamente o
but
que é,
easier said
entendeu?
than done.
Já peguei o contato dele já.
Now again, you were speaking about being close proximities, and yeah, these teams are definitely getting way too closer to each
Hã?
other, especially TUF and Regicide.
Não,
I
perguntou
don't
não.
like how things are looking between them.
Tá.
Regicide, they're having a bit of a split between themselves. 2-2 split going on right now. Two players in the front, two players in the back. TUF, they might just find the opening they really do need. Even I sort of closing in on that central spot. Maptex, they've done the same. They did decide to drop inside Pinean, instantly capitalize on that empty spot. And now they're on the hill. Godlike Stalwart, as I said, as soon as they're going to be done looting that boot camp area, they'll instantly try to take over that hill, and that's what they've done. High ground, again, is going to be the prime spot for the teams. And as I said, Blotter, sometimes even Sandhawk can be quite slow.
Indeed.
Oh.
That's exactly what I was thinking as well.
Nossa.
Uh-oh. With that, it's Regicide.
Um tanto de
And
gente
Knock
ali em
Knock
volta,
Reason,
mano.
who has been knocked
A
down
Steph ficou
actually.
dentro de bootcamp, nem saiu de
Not entirely
bootcamp.
sure where the shot
Não
came
dá
from.
nem
Was it
tempo.
T20 Cody? I think it might be T. No, never my
Internet
apologies
Vivo é a
for
melhor que tá
that. But
tendo, mano. É
definitely
uma das melhores, Vivo
getting
Fibra, mano.
provided that
Vivo
level.
Fibra e Claro é uma das melhores
At the
internet que
same
tem.
time though,
E
they are out in
operadora,
the
né?
open, so Regicide has to be a lot more careful now. Or the shot could have actually come in
Deixa o
from
like,
God like
rapaziada. Quem
Stalwart
não
as well
deixou o like, deixa
in
o
the
like.
backlines. As you do have
Vamos ver
Stalwart
quantos
on
tem
our
que
screens,
fechar
I
aqui
mean
de
a
like.
very good spread out approach coming in from Stalwart. With a two-man split is what we're seeing on the other front. It's going to be Maptex who are also getting closer and closer to
200
the positioning
likes,
of this fight,
fechou.
which in turn has now resulted in them capitalizing. And it seems like Knock Knock, the man who has just got up,
Perfect.
is going to be the sole. Yep.
Yeah.
Sole person drawing all the attention of Leo from Maptex, which in turn has resulted in, of course, that
Os meninos também estudam ou só jogam mesmo? Só jogam, mano.
being utilized.
Quem
As
te estuda eu
Maptex
repasso.
are looking at a comfortable
Eita
2
porra.
eliminations right here from this fight.
Oh man, these suppressed M4s are definitely doing a lot of damage on the enemy teams.
A Steph subiu pro morro de cima.
And if it's far enough, it's going to be
Olha a
quite
Steph,
tough
ó.
to tell where the
Vai
bullets
bater
are
com a
exactly
Drake,
coming
mano.
from
A
too.
Steph.
So right now, at least the players of
Vai subir lá em
Godlike
cima, vai bater
Stalwart
com a Drake.
acknowledge where the bullets are coming from. They
Vai
have
bater com a
spotted
Drake
the
a
players of
Cid lá em
Maptex spot
cima.
action.
Drake
Now,
Joe.
hoping the spray's not going to connect way too far away. Maptex have done a great job of neutralizing the threat that was in front of them. Regicide right now, handicapped big time. 2 players lost already. Of course, Nocto and Knock Knock went down, and now we only have Ushan and Boz left alive inside the game. That's the only team next to Team Cordy with a casualty. Godlike Stalwart still just continuing to pepper down those shots inside the smoke, thinking that maybe there's going to be someone inside that. Not the case so far. And we were speaking about Quantum Rage, Blotter, and Quantum Rage so far in the overall rankings are on the latter half of the board. But before that, I'm going to hold on to my word because on the other side, you do see the players of DEW and Team Cordy getting way too close to each other. We might just see a little brawl occurring soon.
Oh, this is trouble brewing for sure between those two teams. T20 Cody as well as the Maptex, as you perfectly mentioned, in close proximity at Horton, I believe. And again, that's going to be far north of where this fight is, where, of course, Maptex on our screens trying Nano spot down the players of Stalwart. Now, Stalwart, we did mention earlier as well, a very good spread out approach coming in from the side of Stalwart. So I'm liking that fact, which in turn is pushing Maptex to a bit of a stalemate in this fight. But again, it's absolutely fine because it is the information that they want to be able to retain. They do know that they are surrounded by Stalwart. They just don't know from what angles.
Speak of surrounded, right now the center of the map is definitely filling up with a lot of teams, Blotter. A lot of teams have accumulated right there. And the hot spot right now is being controlled by
Demora
the
da
players
porra
of
pra
top deck,
fechar, velho.
Stalwart, and even Maptex. Soon enough, the fights
True that.
should definitely start to pop up even more. Right now, teams are just getting well versed. They're just settling down. They have found themselves that sweet little spot to play around with. There are a couple of teams who are still outside the circle, including IHC and even
Safe boa.
PRS, who will try to make it inside. But again, you cannot take over the seats that have already been taken, so that means blood should be drawn.
IHC are playing a very passive approach in this fight, or rather in this game. As of now, they definitely are not interested in taking on those fights. The only moment that we saw them
Nossa,
was against the players of
MG3zinha.
Quantum Rage,
Full
and right now
3.
IHC are at outside the zone, towards the south of the map itself. Pretty much the only team that is yet to enter the zone. But talking about the zone itself, again, now things are going to get a little
Essa coca aí tá
convoluted
gelada?
because 16 teams, all 16 teams
Essa
are still
coca aí
waiting.
chegou agora, geladinha? Chegou agora
Only
gelada?
as they get themselves,
Aí
only
é
as they
bom,
step
hein?
into the zone itself is going to be conflicting. And there's not enough open areas for these teams to be able to find a safe compound for themselves. Also, another thing to bring up is going to be the fight that we anticipated between the players of T20 QWERTY and DEW.
Yeah.
It has not yet occurred. In fact, they've gone their separate ways, both those teams.
Yeah.
So DEW, perhaps they spotted the players of T20 QWERTY and decided to actually play it safe and passive this time around. At the same time, again, I mean, this is what has happened over the years of Sanhok, right? Initially, it was the most chaotic one. It still is. It still is. I mean, we're just 10 minutes, 11 minutes into the game. By the time we reach that fourth zone, fifth zone, automatically there are going to be fights taking place from so many different angles that it does get chaotic.
Yeah.
But yeah, over the years, definitely the teams have slowed down their approach on the map of Sanhok.
Os caras têm que mudar esse estilo
And
de
speaking
coisa,
about
mano. De
Sanhok,
comp.
right, there's another team
É
that has
muito
really
tempo
been pretty
parado,
good
velho.
in the PMPL's fall
Gente,
split of
foram
South
12
Asia, and
minutos
that has been the
de
team
partida.
of
Morreram 3
Elementrix.
pessoas.
Now,
A gente não assistiu
Elementrix
uma
have quite an
trocação, mano.
interesting journey themselves
Eles
inside
têm
this
que
entire
deixar o
South
tempo
Asian
mais
championship,
rápido, velho.
right, with how they made it in here, and one
Pontuação
thing that has
diferente. Sei lá, tem
always
que ter
just
mais
kind of
jogo.
brought a little bit of light for them when it comes to me is that Elementrix, whenever they really did need the momentum, they would always start off with Sanhok. They would get a chicken dinner on Sanhok, and then later on, they would just start popping off somehow. So Sanhok has always been a sort of a
É
saving
a
grace
tropa
for
dos
that team,
calvos,
and
né,
they have
mano?
been really good on the map of Sanhok. One thing I've noticed about
O cara
Elementrix is
deixou
that
encostar
they're
nesse
really, really
aperto,
good at
mano.
defending things, but they're kind of
Meu
shaky when it comes to
Deus do
aggressing onto other
céu.
teams. Right now, though, there's a fight popping up, that's for sure. I8 against the players of Skylights Gaming, as one player was a little spread out, and he will not be spared.
Ô, para aí
Not
com
here
os
to take
TikTok,
that from the
velho.
game. That's a big key lost already.
Absolutely. I mean, for the side of Skylight Gaming, this loss is definitely going to be hindering their progress in this game as they are left with just a three-man army on the other front of this
Cara, os caras deixou
compound itself.
encostar
We have
full,
TUF
mano.
taking shots against the players of Quantum Rage,
Que
where indeed
moscada da
TUF
porra.
have been
Perdeu os
able to get decent
carros. Meu.
points out of that fight as well. As now we have Quantum Rage retaliating, where
Bom
indeed both the
dia,
teams
Tace.
have definitely taken shots. But talking about Elementrix, well, Necro, Elementrix definitely coming into the kill feed against the players of Stalwart. Seems like this game could be the rise to shine for Elementrix perhaps, but on our screens we do have TUF Sod bringing on more shots and perfect sprays against the players of Quantum Rage. But on the backlines, Team TUF Sod, he has his teammates, he's going to be taking on a land with a vector
Nossa.
in his hand, and this is going to be the most critical and crucial push of his it did not fare well because indeed it was serious from the side of Quantum Rage, who has easily been able to
Nossa.
Sod in his Thor from TUF is going to be resulting in, of course, what a chaotic fight. Thor, the only climber, only player surviving, but finally, thanks to his DBS, was able to bring down the players of Quantum Rage, and Quantum Rage becomes the first team.
Safezinha
Okay,
boa.
I'm not gonna lie, one of the players really messed up big time. He whiffed the majority of his shots. He whiffed an entire clip on the player in the front, and then he just turns around and just slaps him in the face with a DBS. That could have definitely been a little
That
game
was a close.
changer if he did not miss that many shots. But right now, high voltage against the players of Cordy, as they have managed to tap out one player. Just 10 now haircuts on top of this high ground they've found themselves in. Right now, high voltage, they are looking pretty okay, but still sort of on the edge. Not exactly playing in the centers. Thinking
A
about
12 é o novo
how they can
meta.
try to make things even better from this one
DBS é boa só no close, mano.
is what I'm thinking of. I mean, the compound in front of the players of high voltage
Óbvio, né?
is quite empty, but right now, what
Mas
they're
a
doing is
12,
quite
mano,
brilliant as well. Just trying
trocaçãozinha
to
de
hold
frente
things
ali,
off
se
the
você
main,
for
make
muito
sure they're
bom,
not going to
cara,
be able to cross over on either side of the bridge. And on the other side of the bridge
ela é apelona
is a
demais.
big threat too. If you're able to eliminate a team like DEW early off inside the game, that's going to be a big threat compromise.
Indeed, that is exactly what high voltage apparently seems to be working towards. At the same time, not only, of course, DW, but they've got shots against another team as well. So high voltage, they have a lot of information right now. On the other front, Matrix was just in the kill feed as they took shots against the players of TUF. But I believe TUF is down to a 3-man squad right now. But again, teams are definitely playing it safe. They are taking a very passive approach in the
Yeah,
Sandhawk. 16
told you,
minutes
man.
in, and we're still looking at 54 players alive. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is. I mean,
Even Sanok now these days is sort of like a podcast hour thingy.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. But one thing that we ought to talk about, and of course, viewers, you ought to believe it. Nusa. Nusa, I love that map. I absolutely love it. It is a small one, definitely
Cara, a
much
melhor
more
12 é de
smaller than
Liv, que
Sandhawk.
a de Nusa,
But
DBS
yeah,
ou
the amount of
a
aggression that
S12K.
can be showcased on that
A
map
de Nusa,
is
ah,
mamma mia.
Livk.
But again, moving away
A
from
12 de Livk é a melhor. Acho que depois a
on
DBS,
our
depois a
screens
de
today,
Nusa, depois a
7
S12K.
minutes against the
Que a
players
de
of
Nusa você tem que abrir
HyperX
mira.
in compound.
Ela é
Yeah.
muito forte, só que você tem que abrir mira.
Yeah, man.
E a
I
DBS
mean,
é mais
quick
rápida que
aim
ela, entendeu?
accuracy, I've
E a de
really
Nusa é
seen
muito
through that.
apelona, velho. Tarde, MDZ.
The fight might just break down soon. And TDK, they really do want this
Porra
one
é
as
essa,
well.
meu amigo?
They really do want this fight against the players of Magnus. I mean, TDK realizes Magnus in the front, if they're able to eliminate this threat, this can definitely be a big one for them. One player's all the way in the back, though. TDK only have 2 players in the front line, as 3 players of Magnus are here to defend this compound down. TDK really do want to take it over. Rig with the shotgun, of course, can definitely play a big game, and Rig have already found the opening. The one pump man strikes again as Rig. With the opening being found, he can definitely now try to turn around the tides over here. The man advantage sort of just neutralized. And even Rig really wants to press on it, really wants to work with the sort of opening they've found, but they're not able to find any sort of another
Que
opening.
isso, mano?
Rig instantly being found themselves too. No, this is not a sort of party you really do want. Rig being taken down.
O cara
Magnus are playing
vazou.
this really well. And now TDK, yeah, they're definitely going to be quite unsettled.
Pode conversar aí, velho.
Oh, from the back lines, that too. From the back lines, it was Venom who was able to actually spray on down to the players of T2K, which in turn resulted in them having to walk away from that fight, having lost out on one of their players as well. That was Foundation. Now Rig lost to the cause as well. T2K were doing so good
Yeah.
up until the time the third party was brought into play.
PMPL, ficar de olho aqui, né?
From Venom.
Novidades em breve, hein?
Rolling up against both these
Asiazinha.
teams. Factory
MDZ, né,
Center is going
vida?
to be stalwart, looking very comfortable and confident as the zone keeps on restricting. The teams now are going to have to make a very tough call as
Sim,
both
resolvemos o
sectors are
problema
looking
do
to hold
lag.
on. But it's all out in the open. TUF on our screens with 7 defeats, looking really good in terms of the aggressiveness. But only 2 players surviving now.
I mean, again, you can try to out-survive the wall of death, too, if things are really not working for you. Hopefully, you do have the enough amount of first aids for that. If you don't, then, yeah, playing a normal game has to be the way. Magnus, so far, at least they have managed to get themselves out of one tricky situation, but they might just run into another one if they don't scout out the areas properly. But right now, Magnus, they're playing this one quite well. Not really overextending, instead just playing safe and sound. But around them are definitely a lot of fights now are starting to pop up. As we have Venom Legends 2 against the players of
Nossa,
TDK.
acharam a pedra, mano.
Laser isn't able to connect those shots.
Acharam a pedra ali, velho. Os caras têm que estourar o bug.
Too late to react on that. Instantly were able to sneak behind that rock. TDK, they've realized now they've messed up big time. They are just pinned behind that rock. The only things they can work around with if they do have the smokes to play. And they have deployed one. They can try and retreat back, but they don't exactly know how clear the backlines are too. So TDK, they're definitely pinned for now. Maptex, speak about pinned. Leo is pinned behind that tree, nowhere to go. Around him is completely exposed lands. If he does have a smoke, yeah, that's what he exactly does. Utilizes it to cross on over. As I said, the wall of death is definitely going to be quite deadly, which will make him burn through his meds. But Leo, I'm not sure if he has enough.
No, this is not looking good for Leo, definitely. From Maptex again, the Blues have already caught up to him. And in front, of course, IQ from the side of IA is just holding that angle and position. And along with that, it is Leo who does go down. And it was T20 Regicide, actually, who were able to capitalize on that elimination point. Even though we had IA's IQ just holding on to that spray.
Oh,
the kill was definitely
Valeu, Ed. Tamo junto, mano.
on the Paradise Resort itself. We've got Magnus
Acho os times da SA superiores.
against the players of TU.
Mano,
Talking about the circle itself,
aqui nesse Soult Asia aqui, são 3 times só. Top 3 times só que são muito bons, tá ligado?
I told you.
now it definitely looks like
DRS, que tá jogando bem.
be able to, climb up and get
A STE.
from this game itself for the day.
But even godlike Stalwart is
O nosso cenário é mais forte que o deles. Tranquilamente. A IHC é boa. Essa HV também é boa. São, mano, a mesma coisa que aqui. São 4, 5 times que são muito bons, assim, tá ligado? Da Ásia, desse lado da Ásia, não. O outro lado, o sul da Ásia, sim. Totalmente superior. Tailândia, Indonésia, Malásia, essa área aí. Acho que hoje o cenário mais forte é a região de lá. Não de região tipo Tailândia, mas tipo, tipo aqui é Américas, entendeu? Lá é primeiro, aí fica entre Américas e a Europa. O time da Europa ali, os times europeus. Que eu acho que é pau a pau também. A gente tem que ver nessa PMGC, mano. Quantos times vão estar de cada região, tá ligado? Pô, se na PMGC Finals tiver mais Europa do que Américas, aí o lado deles é mais forte que o nosso, entendeu? O cara tá socando o dedo na M16, velho. Aham.
But the only team that has a cover, a proper cover, a compound in the zone itself, that's going to be, of course, godlike Stalwart. But from the backlines, Elementrix can capture.
Os caras é muito travado, como consegue se destacar? A gente não é movimentação que vai ganhar play, que vai matar cara, velho. Movimentação rápida, essas coisas. O negócio é a mira. Mirinha ali, ó. Precisão. Precisão e cabeça, inteligência. Não adianta você inclinar, sendo que você vai empinar, sendo que se você for dar um spray reto, você vai nocar, tá ligado?
Godlike Stalwart just mowing down lawns in the front. They know DRS is there, but it's just smoke all across the board. They don't exactly know where to fire, but they are still able to find those shots. They're still able to find those connection in those blind shots. And even Venom Legends, they find themselves in a little bit of tricky spot. Elementrix is going to be the one up against them. Laser really does want to close some distance on them. Yuta Uta hasn't spotted out that player yet. Laser's still alive. Nades are being barraged in that direction. Laser's position compromised. Yuta Uta opens up the scope, but it's way too much. But still manages to put a full stop to that fairy tale as they are now going to be eliminated from the game. Venom Legends out on the 5th spot.
A ST vai ganhar essa play.
Elementrix and Godlike Stalwart in the prime spot. DRS out.
Fala, Baianão.
BW outside the circle, just
Bom,
going for a mid strat.
Absolutely. The only
dois
two
times rodando
teams who
kit.
are in close competition for the
4x4.
chicken dinner, of course, is either Elementrix
Hum.
or it's going to be, of course, God like Star Wars. Now, God like Star Wars, they're going to have to move out of their compound, so to speak, and get out in the
É
open.
foda
That's
pra sair
where
dessa
Elementrix
casa, hein, mano, se não
will
tiver
come up
smoke.
upon the
Tá, o
opportunity
coisa já tem
to
uma
take
smoke, o
this
Action já vai
chicken dinner
cair
from
já,
them.
não abriu.
But definitely a very good game for Elementrix right here, as they've been able to get all four players in the final moments of the game. Now we're left with, of course, these two teams who are going to have to start ironing out things between them. For God like Star Wars, only
It
3 defeat points.
yeah. It's funny
É, o ideal era
how
sair
all
por
map
cima,
these
mano,
teams
direita, né?
they
Nossa,
instantly just
17
start
kit.
doing good. I
Já
mean,
era.
Elementrix,
Fuzzy.
this map has been the map where they
Se
start
duvidar, ele vai pegar top 2,
catching
cara, no kit,
momentum,
mano.
and that's what exactly is happening. Elementrix, they're having a phenomenal game of Sandhawk, and it seems like they
Caiu
might
pra
just
granada.
dismantle the players godlike Stalwart too, as Precious has found the opening. Action's been taken down, and Action's a main feed player for them because he likes to play in the front. If Action's taken down, things can definitely now be quite unsettled for the side of godlike Stalwart. Scry's position compromised, the nades are exactly on the mark. Scry's taken down way too low. If Scry gets taken down here, things are going to be way too tricky for the side of godlike Stalwart. They will need to get the pace back
GG.
inside the game. They will need
Jogaram
to
muito,
claw their
mano.
way back inside this fight in general. But Elementrix, they themselves too are now crawling apart. They themselves are getting crumpled down. And
Top
it
2.
seems like
O cara pegou no
Elementrix
kit.
will be eliminated from the game. As godlike Stalwart, they claw their way back inside this fight. It's done. It's their game.
Well. For a moment there, Elementrix was so close to getting this chicken dinner. They had the information, they had the retaliation, they had the spray, everything on point.
Yeah.
Everything on point. As soon as action went down, there was an opening that could have converted into a chicken dinner for Elementrix, but hey, it is God like Star Wars that we're talking about, so it's never going to be easy to take that team down.
Tá
The
sentindo falta de
momentum
balneário?
working in Star
Um
Wars'
pouco da
favor, and
praia.
that in turn seems like God like Star Wars are going to be the ones who will be walking away with the chicken dinner from this game. They did lose out on action, but they still have all the 3 players surviving. All the other 3 players surviving, of course, from that fight. And DRS, of course, the final player
Tem mais 2 quedas.
to set off on this
Bom,
mission.
você
So
já
far,
é
it's gone
top
busy.
2, meu
Top
filho.
15 for the stage is what I saw last time that we joined on to Jumper. And
Yeah.
now, even though I'm sure he knows that there are only 2 teams remaining, he was thinking like, "Oh wow, what a perfect shot that was!" Sadly, was not provided with a elimination point, but definitely a very good shot, and that in turn will result in, of course,
E
DRS getting into
GST.
second position. But we know who the second position winner are. It is going to be none other than the perfect approaching Star Wars, God like Star Wars, with a chicken dinner for themselves. 7 eliminations in total, 22 points from this game.
Let's go. I open up my account in the prediction too, man.
Mano, tá um
So after this
calor da
prediction run,
desgrama aqui hoje, velho. Que
let's
isso,
go.
cara.
You know, baby steps,
Hey,
even from my side. But yeah, Godlike Stalwart
nice.
overall ranking is going to be on the second spot, just because the players of DRS managed to squeeze in the top 2. If I'm not wrong, they should be the one ruling the charts. But again, the difference shouldn't be much.
True, that's what I was also thinking about in the overall ranking. They are sitting on the second position. So yeah, there definitely shouldn't be too much of a difference between the
Yeah.
first and the second, because anyways, we will definitely have a look at that. We will look at that when the overall standings are going to be brought on, and the storyboard is going to make things that much more clear. But yeah, now with game number 4, match number 4 done, now we can definitely say that the teams are well versed with each other. They know exactly what to anticipate from one game or the other, because there are still 2 more games remaining. But before we jump in with that conversation, it's time for us to go on a short break. Stick around, we'll be right back.
Pegar um ranguinho aqui, né? Já volto. Enchi o tanque aqui. Kai, você acha que a mudança de GH atrapalhou um pouco o desempenho de vocês na PMPL? Talvez. Bora comer, né?
Everyone's welcome once again to, of course, the incredible SA Championship right here. All thanks to Oppo for making this happen. But at the same point of time, we are done with 4 games now. Just got done with the map of Sandhawk, where again Necro and his mouth spoke what was gonna happen. That's exactly what ended up taking place. Where Elementrix, I mean, they rose to the occasion, mate. You pointed it out. You said it that you know what, Lakshay, this is what they do, and here
Yeah.
they are doing exactly that on the
Cabelinho
map of
dele.
Sandhawk. So I think
Penteadinho.
next time on, I'm gonna go along with your predictions and see if it all that works out right for me or not.
The funny part is my predictions. I mean, so far they haven't been that exactly on the point, but as soon as I see the circle and as soon as I see what team is on what position, I can definitely sort of draw the picture in my mind. I mean, again, it's not going to be 100% correct, but
True,
majority
true,
of the
true.
times, at least that's something I've seen in the lobbies that I've casted in the past, right? But as you do see the player focus in front of us, and Volley, of course, with the most amount of elimination points, we did see Volley pull off an incredible clutch against the players of IAT. And one thing I really do want to point out here, if I'm not wrong, the last man of I was just staring at Wally, right?
Yep, yep, that
And
is true.
yeah, so I was like,
But
wait,
hey,
what?
I mean, it was because the Blues had already caught up to Mapex's volley, right? And
Já
I don't
tava
know
com
where
desempenho
I
ruim
don't
já.
know what he was doing, but I was that much more questioning Wally because I was looking at the screen and I was anticipating that Wally should probably now get the first aid. Thankfully, he did not, and that's what allowed him to actually take and spray down the final player of IH because yeah, it was a pretty close call right there for the final player Wally of Mapex.
Indeed, man. Speak of close calls. I mean, Godlike Stalwart too. That final fight was definitely quite close, but they still managed to claw their way back inside the fight and somehow win it. Now, of course, Godlike Stalwart. I mean, they're godlike stalwart. Nothing much can be said. They are literally one of the best teams inside these South Asian lobbies. But one team that we haven't seen so far just rise up to the occasion, I would say DUW. And DUW, with the way they started off the entire PMPL fall split, of course, of South Asia, it was with a bang. And DW in the overall rankings, as we had a conversation before this game even started, that they are doing pretty okay in the overall rankings, but they are not showing the sort of flashy plays that we saw in the previous lobbies, right? But maybe it's just because that those six
True.
Pakistani teams are creating a bit of problem for DAW, and they're not really able to find their way
Salve, salve,
across
tarde,
that.
mano.
They're not really able to find the domination, but I think so. We should just give these teams a little bit more time. Even I feel like even from the teams that are going to be coming in from, of course,
Yes,
the Pakistan side, they also need a little bit of
Por que você
more
não
time
faz
to get
vídeos
used
de
to
dicas para
exactly
IGL?
what's going on inside these lobbies.
Porque meus adversários vão ver.
I believe so. I believe so. I think. I mean, I had when the day started off, I was talking about till game number 4, it's still going to be up and down, and then game 4 onwards, teams are going to get that much more versatile in terms of their approach and perhaps even consistent.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It seems like perhaps day 1 itself is going to be spread out for these teams just understanding what to anticipate in the lobby. And of course, we still do have 2 more games remaining. But before we talk about that, let's have a look at the Oppo F21 for a moment, where indeed it was a little bit of a stalemate fight as well. I mean, the entirety of Sanhok
Esse desempenho é um pouco
had
baixo da capacidade de vocês não
gone
desanima o grupo às vezes? Um
with these
pouquinho,
two
mano.
moments in the first few minutes of the game itself. Once these were done, then we were in a little bit
Faz
of a
parte.
stalemate situation where
Faz parte do
till like
processo.
the 18-minute mark, there was no fight taking place at all.
I mean, yeah, and I literally said this too. Sanok these days has been quite a sort of a tactical approach. Now we do know Sanok being quite aggressive. A lot of
Caio, vê as MENA
third parties did
Championship?
happen as
A
well.
gente
None of the
viu.
fight was completely
Eu
driven
vejo.
or
Eu vi
managed to
agora
somehow
como que
some
foi o dia de
sort
ontem.
got a little bit of
Na
damage
live.
because of that. And they were able to make it alive, but later on,
True.
instantly Magnus got eliminated themselves. So yeah, third parties are definitely going to be the part and parcel of the map of Sandhawk. compared to all the other map. Of course, third parties are going to be way much more in this map in general. But as we do have the damage graph in front of us, Godlike Stalwart with 7 elimination points, 1493 damage dealt. Maptex as well in front of us. I mean, the teams that got eliminated too, they have quite a decent amount of damage wrapped up themselves. And as you mentioned, rightfully so, the fights were happening way too late.
Exactly, and that I don't know if it's a precursor. It could be a precursor, I'm not sure. But it seems like the SA Championship, it is going to be an extended one. Every single game is going to be an extended one, right? With that, like we were talking
Yeah.
about it, we've got two games remaining, Erangel and
Yep.
November.
Exactly, man. And with that, also, Blotter is going to be saying bye bye to us for today. It's okay, Blotter. We'll see you tomorrow, man. It was great casting alongside with you. But now, Fixes is back in action. How you doing, baby? It's been a long time.
Indeed, it has been, and a little bit of a Panda Brothers reunion, I believe. But keeping everything aside, I was just watching the game, and boy, oh boy, God likes Starward. I mean, you gotta give preps to Pika for what
Yeah.
he did in those final few moments, because I really thought that Elementrix trade steal it out of them, right? Just
Yeah.
the moment when they did get that first knock, it was Pika doing everything that was required. We'll talk about that right now, just a little while. But now it's time for predictions. Seems like you've already gone one up. So, Necro, I'm going to give you that first call. Who do you think is going to be ruling Erangel?
Oh man, Wrangle, I'm really thinking of high voltage here, man. I think so. High voltage will have two today. So yeah, high voltage. Lock it in for my side. What about you, bro?
I think, I was initially thinking about high voltage, but considering that we haven't seen, back-to-back chicken dinners,
Ó,
even
Robson, nice
in
shot.
in the SA Championship, I think I'm
Ó,
gonna
nice
go with
shot
Godlike Stalwart on
do
this one
Man.
because I
Ah,
really feel
lá da
this
Ásia.
was all that
Robson,
was
nice
required
shot
for
da
Pika
Ásia.
to gain that momentum to get the chicken dinner following into these games, right? Godlike Stalwart, I think if you look at how their footprints have been in the past, right? They kind of
Yeah.
start a little lousy. Once they get that chicken dinner, they start rolling, baby, and that is where we get to see their true faces. And of course,
Yeah.
I mean, getting back to the conversation that we were really having, Godlike Stalwart, I mean, they were kind of just positioned to that one spot, but I really felt that Elementrix messed that up because building up all those smoky barriers for them kind of went against them, to be honest, because after getting that knock they did not get any sort of follow-up. Orange was way outside the zone, his position was compromised, Pika got a knock, and then he just goes in through, gets yet another one, got three of those players in those final few seconds,
Não, a
and
BTR não é.
literally saved Godlike Starboard from the cusp of getting eliminated. And
Yeah.
A
regardless, I mean,
BTR é
it
da
was all a game about
Southeast
survival, right?
Ásia.
And I can
Sul
perfectly
da
understand
Ásia.
why, Godlike Starwood was in such prime
Sudeste.
position. His
Sudeste, Sudeste,
sensor
Sudeste,
is
Sudeste. Falei errado.
favoring them massively, even for Elementrix, like you mentioned. And, I
Yes.
was taking a quick
Da
look, and
South
I could really see,
Ásia.
apart from Mabatex
Sul
and
da Ásia
From
e
Fun, there
Sudeste
wasn't
da Ásia.
nobody who was really going to,
A BTR é do
strike their
Sudeste
path
da
perfectly
Ásia.
inside the
Esse
Yeah,
aqui
circle,
que eu tô
exactly.
giving
assistindo é o Sul
such
da
a
Ásia, que é a
great way
STE.
through the little small bridges that we have, and took control over the hills. And it was Elementrix game to lose at a certain moment, especially when that last curveball hit. But again, Godlike Stalwart just being very resilient, showing no mercy, they managed to come out as the victors.
I mean, again, as you said, with the position the players of Godlike Stalwart really found themselves in, they'd really need a sort of heroic play, at least from that one player. And Pika stood up to be the hero in that moment, and he pretty much just saved the day. Elementrix, the players, they were playing that pretty well. Let's be honest, they had them
Yep.
surrounded, they played that perfectly. And one thing we have noticed, right, no matter be the hills or no matter be the compounds, when you always need to move out from those prime spots, it's one of the most trickiest things to do. And that's why Godlike Stalwart sort of were crumbling down to the nades that were being thrown from the side of Elementrix, but Pika came in clutch.
He did indeed. But
Yeah.
when we were talking about clutch, we're gonna talk more about those clutches because few of them were, of course, made in Sanok itself. But right now, it is time to take a look at these beautiful faces. Everybody just riled up for the game to begin because we are talking about Erangel, and this is indeed the bread and butter map of all these players. Everybody well versed with all the terrains, and they exactly know what they have to do and how they have to play it around. So far, it has been an essay domination all along Pakistani teams. They've been lagging behind, but
O cara
somehow
rachando o
they
bico
are
aqui, ó.
making their way. They're finding their
Tá
way.
rachando o
But the
bico
big
lá.
questions still remain. I mean, are they going to stick to those few drop locations that they have selected, or are they willing to take in those fights. For that, I'm really curious to watch because what happened to I8 in the previous trade, just getting clapped by Volley single-handedly. I
Erangelos.
mean, who peeks to an
Exact,
MG3 with an S12K just running in front? I don't know if
dude.
Ghost was in the right senses, so I was in his right mind, but
I
hey,
mean,
Necro,
I,
don't know.
that's what I literally said. I yelled. I was like, "What is he doing?" Like, it just didn't make sense at that time. I'm like, "Okay, what is exactly going on?" And then the last man who was alive from the side of I was like, "Okay, he should be able to at least try and take him out, right?" Because of course Wally was out in the open and he was also looting the death crates. But then the last man just stands still and just stares at him for a while, and then decides to go back in the cover. And while he was trying to fade away, he got caught by the MG3. I mean, it was just completely a dunzo type of deal over there. So I definitely quite interesting approach from their side. But right now, as you said, are we going to be seeing any sort of improvements? Are we going to be seeing any sort of shuffling around again inside the drop
Huh.
locations? And that doesn't seem like the case anymore. DEW, they are going to be the rulers of the military base. Godlike Stalwart, of course, they will make their way towards Nova Ruknoy just because the flame fly path sort of far away from that spot. So they would decide to drop in the compounds nearby first, collect the basic loot, and then make it towards Nova Ruknoy. What now we're really waiting for here is going to be the circle. Now, again, fixes, of course, you and Blotter have been casting the Pakistan side
Isso é
way too
foda,
much, of
mano.
course, right? And you guys have known these folks a lot. And what do you think is the reason? Why are these teams really backing away from their prime spot that they like to drop in?
Overthinking. I really think, at this point they're doubting themselves because
Yeah.
look at this. I8 have changed the drop location again. This
Yeah.
time heading over towards Primorsk. I mean, it's probably the second drop
Indecisive.
location. Yeah, pretty much. And I do not know how they're gonna work around it from over here because had they gone towards northwestern Georgia Paul, this could have been a much better game. Maybe early on the intention is not to take a fight against certain right now. Let's see, but T20 QWERTY having a big pressure
Caralho.
in the form of DRS, who are already high and mighty with the kind of momentum that they're rolling
Salve,
in.
Caio.
While
Quais são as
Volley
expectativas
knows
para a
that this
final de um
Necro
dia?
is a player to watch out for, you need to fear him. But DRS, with the way they are playing, are they scared? Heck no.
Mano, os melhores possíveis,
These
né,
teams
velho?
are quite solid teams, right?
Jogar concentrado,
But
focado,
again, DRS, I would
tranquilo.
still say they have a little bit of momentum
Ó o
favoring
gigante.
them. They should also have a lot of confidence favoring them in general.
Gigante da Ásia.
But if you speak about Gravity, he does have a perfect set of guns too to hold his house down. He has a shotgun and the AKM to play around with. On the other side DRS. I
O
mean,
cara nem
Downside does
bugou,
have a
mano.
double barrel in his hands, and he's now sort of just making sure that he's clearing
Ah não,
every
irmão, você
single
tem
angle
AK, não tem?
off the house.
Joga
He
de
has managed
AKM
to
com
clear the
close
top
aí, pô.
lines, and now they have no clue that Gravity has dropped down. Maybe Gante has some sort of a clue, but should be exposed soon enough. Yeah, what is exactly going on? I mean, the entire team of DRS is really close. And even now, QWERTY has decided to close on it. So finally, the cavalry is here. This should give a bit of more confidence for QWERTY
Não,
to try and make
não.
some plays. But
Meu
wait, he
Deus
whips
do
those
céu,
shots and gets taken
gigante.
down by Pistol.
That is
AKM,
something
velho.
that Gravity did
Pelo
not
amor
quite
de Deus, morreu pra
anticipate, but
pistola,
T20,
mano.
in fact, T20 QWERTY getting a trade-off for their own as
Coisa
they've managed to
feia,
get that
velho.
killer over there. But Delta having that double-barreled shotgun, can he make good work of it? As to 420 boy does have that M16 to play around with and sometimes can really prove devastating. As now T20 QWERTY cutting on their losses but still would want to fight this out because they know DRS, barring those shotguns, they do not have much to play around with. But you also know, Necro, in these sort of situations, it is all you need, to come out as the victors. As 420 boys shifting onto that S12K, I think pretty much picked it out of Gravity's death crate out there. As DRS, a little phased right now, a little scared, but still very alert, very vigilant.
They need to stay alert in these moments. And
Olha isso aí,
we
velho.
do have the replay. The correction, just want to rub some salt on the wounds of Gravity, right? How he really did whiff those shots.
Meu
But he was
Deus
at
do
least
céu.
able to find the opening at the start. So at least got traded away. I guess that sort of makes up for what just happened. But even the players of T20 QWERTY are really trying their best to sort of equalize the ground between them. And they have managed to so far as well.
Indeed, they have at least T20 QWERTY really making sure that at least they've come out
As Américas não
on
contam
the
pra
positive
PMGC
side
Points?
of
Não.
this particular fight, getting those two finishes. Now DRS will have to tuck their tails and run, and that is indeed what they have done from
12 é
here.
assim, ó.
A
Quando você tá
little bit
nesse
of a
pixel aí,
bloodshed
ó.
right from the early
De 12, tá ligado? Daí beleza, o cara vai rushar, você só abre e atira. Agora aquele jeito que o cara rushou ele pegou a 12 e foi rushando, tá ligado? A KM ele já vai rushando dando pré-fire, a 12 não, mano. A 12 tem um intervalo. Você dá um tiro, bum, bum, tá ligado? O cara dá tempo de atirar. Você rusha de AKM, ele atira, dá nem tempo. Ó, aí o pixel que eles estão, sim, o joga de 12. Tá cheirando, o cara vai subir, você só abre, tum, tum. Deixou com de vida. Se rushar, vai tomar, mano, a dosada. Um vai cair.
And hopefully he has the meds too to patch himself up because they have just dropped inside this compound.
Pinou.
As he was patching up, perfectly capitalized by the
Meu Deus do céu. Que coisa feia.
Too late to react, and yeah, T20 QWERTY will come out on top, and that's a big threat neutralized. DRS taken out from the game this early. And now that DRS is out, as I said, that's a big threat neutralized. One of the biggest names inside the lobby is not in the game anymore right off the bat, so that's going to give a big sigh of relief for some of the big names like, of course, God like Stalwart and even High Voltage. Because the High Voltage and DRS, I mean, I would say DRS too, they have similar sort of a play style just like the players of High Voltage too. They have a little bit of tactical nature, but one thing I would say that is quite different is that DRS, they really do not shy away from some of the fights. I would say they really do fight for the prime spot.
Indeed. I mean, nothing really taken away from them. But you know what really sets them apart? In fact, High Voltage over here is that experience, right? Because when you take a look at their roster, they have played in the big leagues. And when it comes down to DRS, nothing taken away from them. I mean, we still know their organization is one of the oldest, but the players playing in, some of them are relatively new into the scene. And, you know, you have those little bit of hiccups. But again, you know, when you have that new blood, to get that little bit of an aggression coming in, I think Kante has so far really impressed me, especially when you get a knock with a P1911. Really impresses you against an S12K. I mean, what are the odds of you coming out through? But again, you know, these are professional players. I mean, I would have never connected, but he of course did. But you know, despite that, you know, T20 QWERTY did come out strong. I mean, in the previous game of Erangel also, they did manage to accumulate quite a lot of points. But again, we have to talk about this circuit.
Saludo Caio desde México City e Fede, de onde anda? Fede está cá, mano.
At the same time, where you have those potential chances of this circle ending somewhere around that ruins area. And
Está
Magnus,
banhando.
really quick to understand the gravity of the situation, have made quick rotations out from Pachinki already.
I mean, speak of making quick rotations. Yeah,
Caralho, essa caixinha aí, mano.
rotation outside Pachinki.
Fazenda TQ tem essa caixinha. GG. Inf campeão sábado. Vou reformular a pergunta. Inf campeão sábado, sim ou claro? Sim ou claro?
Now, you said Quantum Rage has been one of the most consistent teams in the lobbies of course, PMPL Pakistan, but over here, we're not seeing any sort of replication of that.
I mean, not yet. In my defense is all I can say. They have been consistent in terms of, at least they've been consistent. Not the way we wanted all the Pakistani fans over here, but it's going to be such an arduous task, right? Especially when you are ego drop
Tá,
clashing
porra,
against
27
one of the
kills.
best teams inside the region, that's Fone Gaming. And
27
that
dividido por
puts you in
6
a
dá quanto?
position where your rotations might get messed up.
Quase
Because right from the
5,
moment
mano.
you drop, you
4 e
know there's a
pouco.
threat looming right over your heads. And it is something already to deal with. And then again, it's the pressure because, you know, for Quantum Rage, I think it's their first time playing the ASL Championships. You know, it is the big leagues that they have come into. And, you know, the stakes are higher. So hence the pressure. I mean, when you're talking about
Safe
teams
boa.
like I8 crumbling, then Quantum Rage, I mean, we can cut them some slack.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, we can give them a little bit breathing room here because there are definitely going to be quite a lot of jitters. And as you said, yeah, perfectly brought up. I8, even they themselves, they are being quite indecisive. And for a team like IA to be indecisive inside the lobby, that speaks volumes about the teams that have came in from the PMPL South Asia fall split, right? Because the way this competition have been evolving, even the players of DEW, man, a pack of rookies that just showed
Quem
up
começa a
inside the
final
lobby,
com quantos
completely
pontos?
unknown.
Acho que
They were just
16.
dominating with their miles
16
away.
pontos,
Firepower this
eu
team
acho.
has is incredible. And they were the kryptonites of godlike Stalwart for a long time.
And you know, I think that is exactly what they needed, right? To kind of give them that boost, that adrenaline coursing through their veins. I mean, if they can take on godlike
Ai,
Stalwart, I
puxa a
mean, who
cadeira
are the
aqui.
other teams? I mean, rookies?
Yeah,
Fala,
I mean,
Bruno.
everybody wrong every single time. I mean, the Cinderella story that they're on, we love it.
yeah.
We always love to see these underdogs just come in, surprise everybody. I would love to see them, partake in the PMGC this time around, but that's still a long way to go.
Mas eu pensava
But
que só o VK começava com
the
pontos.
Warriors
Cê é
are
louco?
playing. They're definitely on the right path. All they have to
É
do
20 pro
is
primeiro,
stay
19
top
pro
three
segundo, 18 pro
by the end
terceiro.
of this
E vai
tournament and
diminuindo.
will have themselves tickets for the
20,
global
19,
championships. But right now, taking a look
18,
at the
17,
circle, it's
16.
a little bit of a shift towards that northeastern area, a position where high voltage are going to be really happy and proud of. But Regicide are going to be knocking at their doors, and that is something that they really need to anticipate. And seems like they have snuffed them out. And
Oh.
what has Pro been doing? Was that a
He thought
misfire?
maybe it's penetrable. It's
On,
not.
O que ele tá
it's a
fazendo? Tá
weak-
spotando?
He's just trying to lure the players of T20 Regicide, or maybe just trying to,
Todos os times vão
push
começar
them
com 16
away, just
pontos?
stay
Não,
away
mano.
from my territory.
Falei, do
Yes, yeah, I
primeiro
think so. That
começa
can
com
definitely be
20.
one of those things
Até o
here.
16º vai
Jump
diminuindo
society. I think
ponto.
so. That will definitely be the intention over here. That this place is already
20,
taken. Now, who
19,
knows?
18,
When this is a solo
17,
circle,
16, 15,
the place
14,
that they
13,
have
vai
right
diminuindo.
now, of course, the Drawzok High Ground will be quite likely by a lot of teams. So you really do not want anyone to come close to that one. And High Voltage so far holding it pretty well too. Now, look at the split the players of High Voltage have too, right? 2 players inside Water City, 2 players inside Rozhawk. That's a big split, that's for sure. And even if that high ground gets contested by a complete 4-man squad, it's going to be so tough to react from the side of High Voltage.
Oh,
What do you think of this split, though? I'm having a lot of questions right now.
anytime,
Essa é a regra nova?
what's going to
Yeah.
É
happen.
nova.
I think one good thing that I can really focus
Depois a
forward
PMPL
out
vai
here
postar as
is
gravações das plays na
that they
Qualify,
put
sim.
their eggs in a single basket, right? They somehow are kind of anticipating the circle to shift down south. Because ideally, if you would want to
Caio,
go
quais
for
tops
a
da
split
Américas vão
at
pra
this point,
PMGC,
you
mano?
would want to have two of your players kind of stationed at the
Cara, não
starting
sei, hein,
block
velho.
around the other side. So when the circle kind of
Difícil.
shifts over there, you do have somebody providing cover fire to you. But I think high voltage, they are really confident in their endeavors. But Regicide trying to just get in. But now with bated breath, we just wait for the next circle to appear in front of us, and it is going to take a shift all the way towards that eastern side. So teams like Skylights Gaming are really going to enjoy themselves.
Aí, ó.
Now, God like Stalwart
Safe
in,
assim,
the meanwhile
quantas
also
vezes vocês
didn't have
viram
a good chance at
na
this one
PMPL
because
Brasil?
especially
Save
that the
desse jeito aí.
economics, now they've got a lot of room to play around with.
Que nós,
But
só,
if they
nós
are
anda pra
a little
frente
bit
e fica
complacent,
parado, velho.
if they're unaware
Vai
of
se
what
fuder,
Team
mano, na
Madness is
moral.
up to, they might have a
Valeu,
run for their
Wellington,
money
pelo
right now.
donate.
I mean, the circle has screwed up the majority of the teams inside lobby, that's for sure. Even
É
Kingdom, they're
permitido
all the way
visita
down south
intimamente na
in
queixa de
Unity. Now,
soldado.
Bill Leader trying to make it
Valeu,
inside
mano,
the
pelo
circle. Now,
donate, tamo
building
junto.
rotation is the only way they can decide to save themselves for another day. Elementrix 2 all the way on the offskirts. For teams that have still, or that are still not even close to the
Cê é
circle, at
louco,
this
velho.
point in time, making it inside the circle is going to be really tough, maybe even next to impossible, because the majority of the circle is already being accumulated, and of course, the borders of the circle are already being covered. So there are going to be quite a lot of Guardian Angels, but there's a fight going on as Maptex, they have managed to find 2 players of Regicide, and both of them just crumble down. Regicide, they fall down like nothing. Maptex, they're making it look so easy, and Regicide, even the 3rd man goes down. It's all down to that one last man alive.
Nossa.
Nocto will not survive anymore.
Tá,
He
pô,
is
cara, vai
taken
pô,
down as
mano.
well, and Regicide, they just crack under a lot of pressure.
Just fell down like flies out there. I mean, this is one of those areas where Maptex also have understood, the better off
Se
fending
todos os
off
times que
that
tem
than
vaga
the
pra
aggressors,
PMGC
right?
Points
Even in
da
the solo game,
Américas
we did see
ficar no top
Foment Arcade
4,
decided to charge and press in
vai
on
até
them.
top
They were the
7.
ones who did come out swinging and won
Vai
that
7
fight.
times
At
das
the same
Américas.
time, in this particular
A
battle as well,
FG que tem
Regicide
vaga, mano,
got
eu
a lot
acho
of
difícil
information
ficar no top
maybe
4.
and acted,
Tá ligado?
defensively and had to pay a
Então
heavy
acho que vai
price for
top
that. As I8,
6.
it's going to be such a tough time, especially when you've got
Eu acho que
T2K
top
right in
6.
front of you,
Top
and then
5 eu
you've
acho
got the players of
garantido
I8C
que abre
locked
slot.
onto
Agora
the
top
cage as
6.
Magnus decided to push in around that hell region where Quantum Rage are well stationed. 2 of their players just fending off the players of Team Magnus. As now, it all comes down to where the circle shifts next. If it's going to be an even one, Skyless Gaming, they're going to be in prime position to dominate in this game. If it goes a little bit down south, this could be Godlike Stalwart or maybe Maptex written all over it. But if it goes towards the northwest, then T2K, this could be their time to shine.
The chances of it going northwest are definitely going to be quite slim, though, because again, I mean, I cannot
Anything is
honestly at this
possible.
point in time, you can never say anything. The circle has been quite interesting this time, right? And yeah, there has been a lot of times where the circle has shifted against the odds, and there is a possibility, that's for sure, that it might just shift to the top left too. But we are just waiting for the next circle to pop up soon enough, and it will be. But right now, speaking of the teams that are currently in quite a decent spot, has to be I8. I mean, right now they're doing pretty okay, and even for them to make a
Tá
rotation
mais
inside, they can
rápido?
definitely decide to take the water lines. But
Ah, não,
only
agora
if the
hoje
circle
parecia
takes a
mais
big
rápido.
shift away from them, things can
A quarta safe
completely
desceu,
different.
You know, PMPL is
parece.
just doing wonders. You know, while we
Now they're but we are currently now they're doing pretty okay, and even for them to make a rotation inside, they can definitely decide to take the water lines, but only if the circle takes a big shift away from them, things can be completely different.
you know, Pika, he's just doing wonders. You know, while
Mostrou,
while
mano.
Mike was just taking a quick gander at the map feed, and he instantly goes in and takes over the forest area. And now
Desceu.
with such good
Ah, a
control
gente ia
over
dar
the
bem de
forest
qualquer
section,
jeito.
he's just going to deal with the players of Elementrix a little bit of a showdown from the previous game this time. However, in those early stages of
Nossa,
the
tá
match,
muito atrasado,
Elementrix
velho.
have
Que
knocked out one
isso?
of their players, and God like Sauer seem to have spotted out the players of PE Warriors, and it's going to be really concerning. But for God like Sauer, the only thing that kind of bothers me is a huge split, right? Pika, he's always known
Vão
as a
usar esse
guy who
traje aí
makes
pra
it
final
tough
também?
waiting for the solo
Provavelmente.
players come to his position. Oh, indeed. Never mind. He's just,
Cara,
in
explica aí a
fact,
classificação pra
rather, just
PMGC.
come back to his teammates. But what he did just previously was impeccable. I mean,
Hã?
just a solo player going in through
Mano, só
all those
testou lá, a
trees,
mulher desligou e ligou, reiniciou o
such a
sistema lá
decent
de
spot. And
coisa.
then they realize it's better to have a concrete cover.
Foi alguma
And
coisa mesmo.
I think God like Stalwart have learned from their mistakes. I mean, better stick together and better fight together than have those
Yep.
splits and get picked off one after the other.
Still a Giga Chat rotation though. Gotta agree with
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Aí, ó.
100%.
GG.
Just
Safe
as the
padrão
circle
da
now shifted
porra,
down south,
mano.
of course,
Vai se
some of the
fuder.
teams, the sort of game plan they decided to plan out inside this one has not really worked out. The circle is definitely not being friends with the majority of the teams, but some teams have found themselves quite a decent home in that one. Quantum Rage with only a two-man squad, they have found themselves right in the smack center and quite a decent spot too. Now all they need to do is keep their
Tá
position
porra,
honest.
Guizinha.
And if there is a threat closing up, then they should not back away from a fight because that's the only way they can decide to shook it away. As we have the players of I2 just mowing down the field in the front against the players of I8. And oh, that's not a position you want to be in. They don't really have a lot of areas they can try and move around. They're sort of just trapped in that spot. I8, even they themselves need to make it inside the circle, so they cannot keep on taking this fight anymore because they will just be wasting the time. So that's what they exactly do. I8 now on a rotation to make it in, but the players of I8 are guarding this bridge.
Yep. Godless. He's gonna make those godly moves along with Demo, and really can't understand the intention in trying to do so. They're really banking upon the fact that Icy and Alex, they're gonna pick a few knocks from around here, but Demo, he's playing with fire. Does he walk away with murder? Have
Que
I
isso, viado?
heard him? And indeed, they have Uzi
No.
just snuffing him out. And now, well, Demo, he's in a world of trouble right now.
What? Where is the cover
Nossa,
fire
tomou
from
de
the
outro
side of
time.
I8?
Pro meu pente.
Demo eventually
Meu
gets taken down.
Deus.
So yeah, at least for now is able to stay alive. But again, just because they have the positional advantage over the players of IT, and IT just because they made quite a late rotation. I had to talk about this too previously. That Vince, you are going to make a late rotation. It's going to be so tough to find yourself a comfortable spot. But even High Voltage is now just ramming their vehicles in this compound or in this territory as the players of IC have just pushed in, and IT have managed to at least take down 2 players. So at least for now, the threat's being compromised. But as the players of High Voltage have approached this fight, Icy will have more threat to deal with. Assassin spotted out, some damage chipped down
Uma
as well.
molotov,
But
mano.
that's not gonna
Molotov,
help him quite a
filho.
lot here. Icy's
Faz
all by
molotov,
himself
meu
to try and
filho.
fight off, while his
Boa.
other 2 teammates are not exactly seen around him. They're trying their best to fight back to finally decide to engage in a fight. High Voltage, they have
Nossa, ele
somehow
molotov
managed to put a
atrasado.
full stop to IT's story.
Oh, and Ghost, he was just lying in wait. But High Voltage really, really spoiled the party for I8 over there. I mean, getting those trades out there, and, well, Icy just charging in. And with no fear out there, did whatever he possibly could have done. But again, it was High Voltage that walked off with the final laughter. But Prabeen still knocked out. And Ghost clearly keeping I8 still in contention as Mabatex did, really enjoy that spot that they were holding on to because IC was applying so
Não
much
mostrou a
pressure
safe,
on the
mano.
players of High Voltage. just to get caught off guard.
Vai
And the
ficar
players
salvo
of Maptex,
assim,
as he
Gustavo.
gets taken
Pode ir,
down,
mano.
but the circle
Vai
making a
trampar.
certain shift, and we have seen the circle a lot of times. Now this is where Maptex really need to make a move, but they cannot move with high voltage just lurking around them, and Ghost is gonna play that waiting game. He's just waiting for the right opportunistic moment to strike. Just the moment that high voltage are at the weakest, that is the time he might just put the final nail in the coffin. But right now, are the players of T2K aware of Ghost presence, Necro?
They probably are, as even Magnus, they're getting just charged on by the players of TUF. Now Magnus, they've just
No.
found themselves in a room locked up. Just pinned down completely.
O cara deu um
Quantum
third.
Rage,
Só
they want a little bit of peace in
toma.
this fight. Quantum Rage 2 deciding to engage, as this was the area that was being held down by the players of Quantum Rage, and now it's being taken over. Pushing up, Quantum Rage
Tá, porra, o
can
cara
definitely
solo
try to put a
torou,
full
mano.
stop, and they played this perfectly, just taking advantage, third-partying this entire situation. Quantum Rage, just with a two-man squad. Now they're, of course, down with that one last man alive, but they at least are able to stay alive for a long time. As we have just that one last survivor, and his position, of course, compromised. That leg's being spotted, the spray's taken. Sneaks is not exactly able to land all his shots because, of course, one little pixel was only exposed. From the back, Frag Boy tried to make some work happen, but of course couldn't, as he did get snuffed out. DEW, for now, they're just controlling this entire southern side, and they should keep on doing so as well. Godlike Style were two on the left, on the
Aqueles
left
caras
side.
deitados na frente da negativa ali, se o morro olhar, vai morrer tudo.
Okay, but now DEW, they're deciding to breach inside this compound.
Alright, DW, I mean, still do have a really good position to defend though, at least for this moment, because they have the mercy of the circle. But Sneaks, of course, did try to thread the needle over there, did not quite succeed though, but still dealt with the threat from the backlines in the form of Venom Legends as the Warriors. Not really know what they're up to,
Nossa, os
but
caras tá
the shot from
morrendo,
the
mano.
Elementrix, being the last player surviving, does manage to get one out of T2K, as Sandesh and Jane will have to get that res back up. But Team DEW
No.
still anticipating a threat in the form of Venom Legends and Laser. Somehow, he survives with a sliver of HP as Gangsta has all his eyes focused in on the players of Skylights Gaming, who are in such a prime position. In the meanwhile, Godlike Stalwart, yet to make a move, but look at Mabatex just shredding apart the opposition. And whoa! Sad did make some Giga Chat plays, did come out.
Nossa.
But Quantum Rage were quick to retaliate back.
I mean, that's what you call a heroic entry. And Heroics of Sad really did find them that opening, but in the end, they just got third-partied. Definitely quite unfortunate circumstance in that moment, but just because the circle now shifted on the southern side, on the right side, of course, a little bit tilted. Skylights Gaming, they found themselves in the prime spot, if you ask me. Godlike Stalwart, they can definitely try and make an entry inside the circle from the southern side, and that's what they're trying to do too. Two players are in the front, while the two players are still in the back inside the compound, providing that cover fire. Maptix out in the open, nowhere to go. They've only to take this spot against the players of Elementals, and Maptix, they're just getting picked off. They're getting dismantled. Even Volley in the back is not going to be able to survive the wrath. Even Volley falls down. Maptex eliminated from the game. Skylights Gaming.
Mickey ali tá com
with the prime spot.
tufão, sei lá.
They have everything lined up for them.
They indeed do. But again,
Boa
they
tarde,
got so many
Ragnell.
teams around them. That's going to be such a tough task for them over here to try and win this one out.
Ó, os caras vão marcar o Skur agora, mano. Boa, acertou um total de 0 tiros.
I do not know if it's the wisest decision that they've taken, but now they're gonna put all their minds into, just thinking that all these three teams fight it out amongst each other, and they are the ones who would have the final laugh. But Skylights Gaming being very wary about the presence of the Warriors, as Sneaks has sneaked himself up onto the rooftops. Will try to lob that grenade, doesn't land.
Cara, o gangsta tá muito marotado, velho. Morreu, os caras viram ele.
Yeah, Fairtail's not going to be going for any more. As Venom Legends, they get eliminated from the game. I don't exactly know if you noticed that Doc, if you noticed what Doc did. Doc was just driving around on the left side of DEW, so now they at least know that the left sides are completely clear, and they are contested. contestable too. So if DEW, they want to spread up, they definitely can. But unfortunately, the circle is not going to allow that. The circle shifts in the front once again, favoring the players of Skylights Gaming. Now they are on the midway side, barely on the edge. For the players of DW to reach in, they will need to take a fight against the players of Skylights Gaming, no matter what. This fight is a must-take one. But how are they going to make this happen? How are they going to execute this master plan? Because Skylights Gaming is not one of those teams that is quite easy to take away. Skylights Gaming, they're well known for their defensive approach inside the games, and for them to defend this compound, it shouldn't be that tough of a task. They have been really consistent in doing so. Godlike Stalwart against T2K. Some skulls were being spotted.
Aí,
some
ó, você vai ter que
haircuts
aproveitar essa
handed out.
trocação aí.
Finally, the push now is made. The fight that is really needed to take over here. That's what the players of DEW are exactly doing, making the push on the players of Skylights Gaming, trying to breach and find some opening inside this compound. But no, DEW.
Aquele cara em cima do telhado tá chato, hein, véi.
AJ's position was uncompromised, but now AJ's position's known too. He's trapped inside the bathroom, nowhere to go. AJ will be catching a lot of fire soon enough, and he should be the casualty here. But still, the hesitancy from the side of DEW is something that's creating a lot of problems.
Nossa.
Ninja just mowing down with the M249. Big
Dourados.
helping him out, just slaying the player.
Dourados.
And DEW. Oh, the hesitant approach didn't work out.
O time tá jogando bem, mano. SG já ganhou uma queda já.
This was their perfect time to strike, but in turn they were busy engaging against the players of T2K. Now we'll have to pay a hefty price. Now this was that golden ticket, them entering inside the circle. Now Skylights Gaming, I do not know how they managed.
Mano, no começo dessa partida teve uma jogada muito zoada, velho. Do time lá, eu zoei, mano. Mas aí não tem muita coisa. Over here, as Godlike Stalwart have nowhere to run and hide. But T2K, Jane, the lonesome survivor for this team, he's just going to play for those position points. But in turn, has managed to secure a knock onto its top. Now, Skylands Gaming really close on getting that chicken dinner as action. Comes out in the open, gets mowed down, gets obliterated. But those trade-offs are definitely there. Nossa, que pixel roubado, velho.
Such a rough situation at this point.
Tá maluco.
How can they recover?
Yeah, it's going to be next to impossible, of course, to recover from this one. The wounds are quite deep as the bullets of pain are just shredding through everything the players of Godlike Stalwart are putting up against. And just because they're out in the open, they don't have anything to play with. While on the other hand, Skylights Gaming, they have an entire compound they can play around with. And even if the circle moves away, all they need to do is just try and close in, and that's what they're doing. But look at Mafia Ninja all the way on the left. He's managed to wrap up, and he finds the opening once again. Another man goes down. Godlike Stalwart down to a two-man squad.
Porra é essa, velho?
Way too low. They decide to patch himself up, but Godlike Stalwart, there's no way they're going to win this one. Skylights Gaming played out of perfection. And they find themselves also in the lucky shoes where the circle was just gracing them with this presence.
Oh, and have managed to get another one for the evening. Yeah. I mean, I was anticipating back-to-back a second chicken dinner, but
me too.
With the wrong team indeed. Yeah, in fact, both of us. We still have a point up though. That's something good. But for Skylights Gaming, will propel themselves after the second position, as Godlike Stalwart will still give the first courtesy to that second position. But 27 points, 12 eliminations for Skylights Gaming. Quick rotation inside the circle, and did just play the prediction game upright up top and worked out really well. However, really I felt there was an opportunity, that window for Godlike Stalwart. All they had to do was just lay down a few smokes, not take a fight against T2K over there, and just head in and be a third party inside that fight where DE Warriors had the entire attention of Skylights Gaming to themselves, and could have really taken them down. But again, could have, should have, would have.
Uma queda ainda, hein?
It is what it is. It is what you do inside the game, and Skylights Gaming, they come out supreme and now are in such a good position. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be heading for a short little break. You don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Deixar desse lado aqui. olhar como tá as tabelas. TQS 2G, vamos ver como ficou a Turquia. Boa tarde, mano. Boa tarde, Vikings Esports. S2G, nossa, Fireflux desceu pra quarto, mano. Passaram 8. Next Wave ficou de fora. Nem fudendo. League Stage, ficaram em quarto. Bônus Point Stage. 56 pontos eles começaram. Nossa, 10 pontos. Não classificou pro coisa lá deles. PMPL da Europa lá. Championship. 3 classifica pra PMGC. Vai ser praticamente a mesma coisa. Quem tem vaga pode ficar no top 4. Boa tarde, boa tarde. Olha os times. Pioneer. Codex de Muerte, TJB, Unicorn of Love, Tus Pro, HVP. Nível alto, hein? Ó, quem bate com a gente de região mais forte, eles e América. Américas e essa região aqui, ó. Turquia com Western Europe. Deixa eu ver quem que tem vaga aqui já. S2G tem vaga pra PMGC já. Então se S2G pegar top 3, vai ceder a vaga pro quarto. A Fireflux não tem vaga. Eu acho que da Turquia é 2 que passa. Deixa eu ver o negócio. Caralho, mano. Ó. Turquia 2. Besiktas e S2G. Tá. Besiktas e S2G. Os dois já estão na PMGC. Se eles pegarem top 3. Top 3 ou top 4, eu acho. Vão ceder a vaga pro quinto e pro sexto já. Beleza. E eu acho que a Mad Bulls. Não. Game Lord. Game Lord passou. Game Lord tá também, não tá? Não. Caralho, que loucura. A Game Lord não passou pro Championship deles, só que eles passaram pra PMGC, tá ligado? Ou seja, supondo aqui, a 7 passou pela PMGC, para a PMGC, só que daí eles não passaram pra Américas, tá ligado? Foi tipo isso que aconteceu aqui. A Game Lord passou pra PMGC, mas não passou pro Championship deles. Vão chegar meio frio pra PMGC. Que doideira. Vamos pôr então top. Só tem dois caras que tá aqui da PMGC, guys. Então se esses dois ficarem no top 3, vai pro quarto e pro quinto. Top 5 aqui pode ir pra PMGC. E o nosso pode ir até 7. Ou seja, nossa região tá chegando mais forte. Se todos passarem, né? Certinho. Da hora. Era isso mesmo, eu acho. Eu queria ver.
that the circle's gonna shift over
Yeah,
to
that's
the
true,
side, right? Had the circle gone anywhere else, this couldn't
It's
have
done.
been their game. So I mean, a little bit of that
Ah,
really
esse
luck
2G
also
tá
really played into the
embaçado,
Silent
velho.
Gaming. And one thing for certain, right? This is one of those teams that, like you said, rightfully, that they love to defend and they know how to defend. And they made a few mistakes which I really thought could be capitalized, but nobody did so.
Yeah.
As we take a look at the match rankings, God like Salvo being a little silent. I mean, this is quite different from how they really like to play. Maybe it's the first day. Maybe they want to ensure that they have that first spot locked in and then just go all guns blazing. But for now, Scarlet's Gaming 12 eliminations, just defending, with style and all that finesse, just getting that chicken dinner. And the Warriors also just fighting their way through. We did get to see a lot of that action just happening around that squad house on that eastern side, in which the Warriors were the ones with the last laugh. But I do not know what the UF were up to, especially Saad just driving his buggy over there. We're gonna
Acho que vai 4
see
times
all of
BR
that,
pro
of course,
Mundial.
in the open moments. But again, it was a very interesting game of
4 times BR pra PMGC.
É,
2 já é garantido, agora 2 tem que conquistar a vaga pela Américas, né? Eu acho que sim, velho. Pode ir 4 times BR pro Mundial, mano, pra PMGC West. Chance muito alta. Porque 2 já tá na PMGC Points, tá ligado? Então 2 já é garantido. Agora mais 2 precisam pegar essa vaga. Acho que até mais, viu? Acho que pode até 5, mano.
That fight right there was one of the most crappiest fights you can ask for. The bridge fight that happened.
Se pá, vai uns 5 time BR,
I was wondering where
dependendo.
exactly is IT's backup. Pico's all by himself on the top, trying to hold the players off, high voltage off at bay, while the rest of his teammates were still in the water lines. I don't exactly know what was going on because, of course, they were not in the limelight there, but they were not able to provide the cover fire that Pika needed at that certain time.
Yeah, and even in this particular, like you just mentioned, in those final few moments, I was really curious to see if Godlike Salvo did have any smokes on them. Because if they did, there was no point of engaging against T2K over there. But that being set aside, they still hold on to that first spot. But of course, with Skylights Gaming, this time they're on their tail because DRS Gaming did get eliminated pretty early on and have lost out on that first spot. But T2K Esports, they've also made some huge strides, 3 spots up. Then even for DE Warriors, they've managed to recover as well, 45 points. Now, again, Godlike Star Wars, Skylights Gaming, they're kind of building up that little bit of a lead. But DRS,
pega
T2K,
PMPL
if they make a
Brasil.
comeback. But what's really, making me sad in the top 8?
E a
Not even
PMPL
a
Américas.
single Pakistani team is visible. And it is going to be such a huge
Como vai funcionar essa
danger for
PMGC?
all
Todo
their
mundo
fans,
joga contra todo mundo ou vai ter
wanting
West
to
Ash?
see
Não,
the
West
Pakistani
Ash.
flag up top. And
Falaram já.
watching them have so much trouble
Ó,
breaks my heart.
top 5 vai pra América, certo? A gente tem vaga. Cadê?
6 teams and 10 teams out of SA, which could be said unfair, but no, that is
Então vai top
completely
6. Se a
ruled
gente
out
ficar no top
because they
5,
have a
vai dar
separate
vaga pro top
PMPL
6,
for their
certo? Então
region.
vão
6 spots coming
6 times da
exclusively
Brasil
out of Pakistan,
vão
where
pra
SA is being
PMPL
split up
Américas,
with
certo?
multiple countries involved. But that being set aside, I think it's time to head into the final game of for the evening. It
Vou
is
botar
going
isso
to be
aqui, pelo amor de Deus. Ó, como a final é um dia, 6 quedas, rapaziada. Final só, um dia. Tudo pode acontecer nessas vagas aqui de top 6, mano. Tudo. Esse, pode ter time favorito, pode ter time favorito que não entra no top 6, pode ter time que não nem cogita entra, tá ligado? Então, final de um dia é isso, cara. Tá, 6 times passaram para Américas, vamos lá. PMGC, certo? Top 3 tá na PMGC. Knights tem vaga para PMGC daqui. E Furious Game tem vaga. Knights e Furious Game já tá na PMGC. Mas 2 times da PMPL Brasil. Se no top 6 esses 2 times ficarem na final do PMPL Brasil no top 6 e ir para Américas, que já tem a vaga, né? VK7 ou VK, gente. Se a gente tiver a vaga da PMGC, a gente for para Américas, que a gente já está na Américas, né? Então, vão ter 4 vagas aqui. Ou seja, 4 times já tem vaga para PMGC. Se esses 4 ficarem no top 4, vai ceder a vaga para os outros 4, não é isso? É isso, mano. Vai top 8. Então, vai ter top 8. Ó, esse aqui Knights fica em primeiro. Caralho, que bagulho chato, mano. Esse aqui Knights fica em primeiro. É... A FG ficou em segundo. VK ficou em terceiro. A gente não sabe quem que passa. Vamos pôr a 7. A 7 já tá na PMGC pelo coisa, ficou em quarto. Esses quatro times já tem a vaga pra PMGC. Então quem ficou em quinto pega a vaga, quem ficou em sexto pega a vaga, quem ficou em sétimo pega a vaga, quem ficou em oitavo pega a vaga. É isso que vai acontecer. Aí como a gente tem maior número de times, por exemplo, tem 6 times BR, esses times BR podem ficarem aqui, pô. Pode ficar muito bem aqui e muito caro, tá ligado? É muito time BR, mano. É isso aí, rapaziada. Não, é top 8, amigo. E se são quatro times que vão pra PMGC, entendeu? Das Américas. São quatro. Quatro. Se o quarta vaga lá, ficar aqui em quarto, ele não vai pegar a vaga do terceiro porque ele já tem, ele vai ceder a vaga pro de baixo. Entendeu? Ou seja, ah, se os quatro times que estão já na PMGC ficarem no top, acho que até top 6, mano. Eu acho que vai abrir 8 vagas, rapaziada. Se a FG ficar ali no top, vai abrir 8 vagas, senão vai 7. Aqui é 3 vagas garantidas, certo, gente? Ó, 3 vagas garantidas isso aqui. É garantida. A quarta vai ser se algum time que já tem a vaga ficar em quarto. Daí ele vai ceder pro oitavo. Entendeu? Vocês não estão entendendo o raciocínio. Vou ter que abrir aqui o PMGC Points, olha. PMGC Points. Ué, não abriu o bagulho? Ó, a pontuação para o final, ó. PMGC Points 2022. Ó, gente, vamos lá. Overview. Ó, pega a visão, pega a visão. Dois times BR, certo? Dois times brasileiros. Um time NA e um time Latam. 4 vagas para PMGC, certo? Vamos pegar aqui as 7 VK, Knights e FG, top 4. Esse top 4 ficou aqui, ó. Ficou aqui em cima, ó, o top 4, ó. Certo? O top 4 ficou aqui, certo? A Knights ganhou, a VK ficou em segundo, a FG ficou em terceiro, a 7 ficou em quarto, certo? A 7 já tem vaga da PMGC aqui, ó. Pelo PMGC Points. Que ele já tem essa vaga. Então eles vão ceder pro quinto. O terceiro vai ceder pro sexto. O segundo vai ceder pro sétimo. O primeiro vai ceder pro oitavo. Entendeu? 8 times. Eu acho que é isso, não é? Final não conta ponto no PMGC Point, não. Não, conta. Final conta, mas aqueles pontos que a gente já tem ali não conta, não. Isso aqui, ó. Ah, a pontuação que os caras ganhou. Todo mundo ganhou pra final. Essa pontuação aqui não ganha, ó. Não conta. Essa aqui, ó. Tipo, tá escrito aí top 3 teams. Oh, meu Deus. Tá bom, vamos lá. Top 3 teams, certo? Beleza, top 3 teams, né? Tá, vamos lá. A VK ficou em primeiro. VK ganhou, já tem vaga, certo? VK não já tem vaga? Vai ceder pra vaga pro quarto. Não vai? E se o quarto lugar for A7 que já tem vaga? A7 vai pegar essa vaga? Não vai pegar vaga. Vai ceder pro de baixo, pro quinto. Aí a FG ficou em segundo, já tem vaga. Vai ceder pro sexto. Aí a Knights ficou em terceiro, vai ceder pro sétimo. Entendeu? Sim, dá pra passar 7 ainda nos points. Rock Knights, FG. Se os 4 times que tem vaga na PMGC Points das Américas estiver no top 4, será que eles vão pular, mano? Que ó, pensa. Tem 4 times na PMGC das Américas, certo? Tá, 4. Se esses 4 ficar no top 4, 3 vão pegar a vaga. E o quarto, que tinha que pegar a vaga do de cima, já tem vaga. Agora eu não sei se pega ou não. Que é pra ir 8, mano. 7 é garantido, foda-se. Foda-se, foda-se. Uma chute McKenna.
Your way. Maybe, a little bit of a copium over there, a little bit of an excuse you can really bring up over here is the fact that, they haven't played a lot of scrimmages against all these other teams in the SA region. Could have been one of those reasons that they're facing so much trouble. Maybe a little bit more practice in this particular lobby could get their A game up and rolling, which is to try and survive, to try and get those crucial
Deixa eu
points
trocar
out.
só a câmera
But
aqui.
nothing said, putting everything aside, there are still a few moments where I'd really, feel that serious, even black, they can, just set things rolling.
Yeah.
But hasn't really happened. Even senior, as a matter of fact, they've got so much. And again, you talk about Quantum Rage, we also have to, cut them some slack because they lost out on one of their best players. That is IQ, who recently, made his way into the I8 roster for all the good reasons. Of course, filling up crypto shoes was such a tough task, but boy, oh boy, he did indeed give his best, and he's still not there yet. But I'm definitely sure he's on the right path.
For sure. I mean, right now, IDA is not exactly on the best spots possible, if I'm not wrong. They're on the 10th spot in the overall rankings, and that is the only team closest to all the other South Asian teams in the overall rankings. So, yeah, IDA is definitely doing okay so far in the overall rankings. I mean, it's just the first day. They still have 3 more days to go if you cut this day out. IT Alex, though, he's caught a little bit of fire onto himself as well, as he is taken down a bit low. But look at IT, what is this? Demo inside the bush, didn't even expect him to be here. And Demo just strikes in like Venomous Snake, and the deserted lands. And damn, he takes him down. Demo, what was that? That was a surprise and a half.
Just a rattlesnake, in the American deserts. But talking about the geographical area of Miramar, I think it's somewhere around, maybe Mexico. But regardless, IHC didn't manage to get one off, and 420 boy is clearly not anticipating that. Was just taken aback, but
Yeah,
again,
I feel bad.
you have to feel bad. This comes out of the fact that T2020 did not drop down at San Martin, and
Os caras jogando
this is
casual.
what really bothers me. Might as well take a fight against godlike Stalwart and get picked off like this. Is what I want to say at this point. But we do have the circle shifting up a little bit north, and it's been ages since we did last cast. Maybe an Oasis circle. I would love to see that happen, and that is exactly where side are headed towards. And Quantum Rage, look at that massive northern rotation that they're trying to pull off over here. And if this works out, I mean, they're going to be really happy.
They did well. But Quantum Rage right now, they just don't want anything to do with all the other teams right now. They just are on their own path. It seems like they're on a path of peace. They don't want to fight at all. They just want to keep themselves away from all the action that's currently happening. But as you do see the replay too, this is exactly how the first knockout was found from the side of TDK, and how lucky is Sandesh to find an M416 right off the bat. That's never me. I never find a gun, especially an M4.
I mean,
Os 6 times BR que vão passar para Américas, eles têm chances claras de ir para PMGC, mano, que eu tava pensando aqui. Tranquilo, velho. Top 7, top 8 tá passando pra PMGC, mano. Você já tem 2 times BR. Dos 6, vai sobrar 4, mano. Dá 4, 5 times tranquilo. Cara, tu tem carregador turbo? Sabe me dizer se vale a pena? Mano, a gente tem um carregador de 20 watts da Apple lá, que é cabo tipo C. É muito bom, mano, é o melhor que tem. Ele carrega rápido pra caralho.
Well, I guess he values safety more. But yeah, right now, Maptex, speaking of safety, Maptex have definitely been quite a big surprise for me inside this entire PMPL thing that's happening, right? I mean, I'm also speaking about the league days and stuff. And Maptex, considering they were the previous seal, just because Demo is not inside the roster,
pode aumentar o volume da transmissão?
Big downfall, and that speaks volumes about Demo himself. This team used to revolve around Demo so much, it's crazy. And just because Demo is gone, Maptex is on a complete big downfall.
Yeah, I mean, Team Seal, they had such a glorious past. If you remember, there were times, at moments where they used to dominate. There was also a time they managed to, win 3 games in a day, and then we were, kind of anticipating them to win the entire thing, but they kind of managed to whip things so bad.
In the grand finals all the time.
No, they could not even make it there. So that makes things even worse.
You're talking about the old times.
Yeah, the old times. I mean, I do not know what the reasons were. Some inner conflicts, I'm not quite sure about what really happened, but that was a tournament where they kind of really threw things out of the window. But has been sort of a, have themselves rejuvenated, tried a few things here and there. Of course, losing out on players kind of hurts a little bit, but again, the professional players looking for better opportunities. And
fechou. De novo pra esse lugar, mano. Para de fechar aí.
Why it happens, of course, with the fans, kind of gets a little difficult to sort of reason out with them when you kind of get.
Só fecha São Martinho, Water Treatment, Crater Fields, velho. Fecha aí só. Agora, safe. Proibido fechar do lugar.
Whilst all that's happening, T20 QWERTY, they're clearly losing out on numbers. One of them falling prey to the players of DE Warriors. And now the circle takes a certain shift. Now high voltage, they're in such commanding position, a position that I believe Skylights Gaming held on to in the previous game of Miramar that we had.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Is this
yeah.
coming for high voltage neck, or what do you think?
There's definitely a chance, but later on, if you remember, Skylights Gaming instantly, as they realized that the circle is not exactly forming around the Creative Fields, they decided to switch the spot to Regicide, where Regicide is right now. So it really does come down to the circle. If the circle is right on top of that mountain, then high voltage, yeah, this can definitely be an easy pickings for them. And I think so they probably will, because no matter what, they should be able to wrap up a lot of information around it. But they should be quick enough on their feet, too, to get away from that mountain if the circle shifts away. That's where they will really be judged, truly. But right now,
Que
IHC,
calor da desgrama,
as they're
mano.
on to move themselves, TDK's in the front. Legends being spotted out, his squad out in the open, too. But are the shots going to be taken? No is going to be the answer for now. Legends going to have a clear rotation. Even the entire team of TDK has now been spotted. Oh, Skylights Gaming! They find themselves under the fire of DRS, and already,
Já
as
desisti de
DRS
São
have
Paulo já
tasted some
desde
blood,
2001.
they definitely do want
Que eu
to go
nasci,
for
eu
the
desisti já,
confirmation,
velho.
but it's a bit too far away.
I mean, the plethora of teams making a rotation from that eastern side sort of makes my heart pound. But Scarlet's Gaming, I'm pretty sure they are gonna have no trouble in trying to get that res back up, as AJ scouring on for the other bodies out there, trying to get as much information as possible. As Quantum Rage has spotted out a shard in the far off Ray, trying to just pepper a few bullets here and there. Knock, knock, right in front of him. Now, this is again one of those players we really need to watch out for. Ever since, a part of Regicide, he's made such huge strides. And look at the way Cena gets picked off.
Precise.
Yeah, I could not understand why he had to prone in that particular situation right out in the open. He was bound to get knocked out, and still decided to do so. But that being said, teams are kind of trying to get to the center of the circle as
Cê é
Team
louco,
UF
peguei tempos
wants to
tristes
make
do São
inroads
Paulo, hein,
against
velho.
Team Magnus as
Ave
players have gone
Maria.
down, 2 players already finished
Oh,
off.
oh, oh,
Oh,
oh!
look at this, Jay. Does he anticipate news?
Ô, irmão, você tá no high, irmão. Você tem que matar o
Right
cara,
straight out,
tio.
just prones in at the right spot, has
Ora,
very
porra.
commanding
Pelo
position over
amor
there,
de Deus.
but despite that, still gets taken down.
Yeah, they had no clue that the players of TDK were just crawling up with that punch boost, and 2 players in the front. They've managed to find the opening, and now Sandesha all the way in the back with a little bit of high ground right on top of the players of DEW. DEW are just getting dismantled. Nowhere to go. DEW will need to get away
Nossa.
from this spot, but a nice retaliation fire. The recovery from the side of DEW to try and claw their way back inside this fight and maybe potentially save the man who has fallen down too, but that's not going to be the case. The elimination point, it's going to be stolen away by someone else. So DW, now they're just down to a 2-man squad. I said DW is a solid team inside Miramar, but that's sort of an unfortunate moment. Really wasn't expected even from the side of DW. Now Skylights Gaming charging on a Thor, who is just down to 1 HP, and he will be shut down easily. TUF, of course, having quite a tough time inside these lobbies too.
Yep, I mean, Scarlet's Gaming.
Este lá embaixo, vamos ver o que você vai fazer.
Still managed to come out swinging with 3 finishes already to their name, and this is one of those positions that they're
Tá torcendo
really
pra quem aí?
acquainted, well versed with, because ideally
Pra
at this
STE,
point,
vamos ver.
like you said, they would
Team
want to be at
STE.
where high voltage are right now, who are actually, taking advantage of all that high ground information, being the king of the hills, certainly helping them out as Team Magnus trying to get some pieces out. As Nima has fallen prey, and
Nossa, aí foi kill free de...
but no. AJ had
O cara
different
salvou a
plans,
play
manages to clutch it
demais.
out in the final moments, and will have no difficulties in trying to get that res back up. Still has time though. Knock knock, barely surviving the onslaught coming out of Senior, but Quantum Rage just at the periphery of
Esse
the
skipinho é
circle.
bom, hein?
Do they anticipate this little threat coming in from HyperX?
I think so, they definitely do, yeah. I mean, the realistic expectation here has to be a threat approaching them, and that's what they're doing so far. They do seem quite ready for this one as well. The nades are being tossed in. Even Maptex, they themselves are catching a bit of fire from somewhere else, so there's a little third party. And yeah, Maptex, this position they found themselves in is quite bad. They cannot afford to stay in this one for long.
Quero ver como que a SG vai entrar agora. Vai ter que torar esses caras aí.
They do have a couple of smokes to work around with, but they want to make sure they have those smokes available even in the
No com 1. GG.
So yeah, staying in that spot is
Isso vai
not
torar
enough.
agora.
Skylights Gaming is wrapping up from the back, and Skylights Gaming, yeah, of course, this should be an easy picking from the side of Skylights Gaming too, as they do decide to stop in the back. They found the opening. Skylights Gaming know all the odds now are stacked with them. All the 4 players, the cavalry's there too. This is a perfect spread from Skylights Gaming. Asia shipped down
Tomou
a bit low,
costa.
but it's completely okay. Now Quantum Wretch from this up might just create a bit of problems, but no, it's DRS from the back,
Nossa.
just third-partying this entire situation. Even
Morreram.
they find a fantastic connection on the players of Skylights Gaming. Those utilities are on the mark, and Skylights Gaming, they get eliminated within a blink of an eye.
Oh, yes,
Meu
he's
Deus.
just shredding down the players of HyperX from the backlines. Just when they were thinking, kind of were on a vision to deal with Skylights Gaming, realized that, they did not have any cover from the backlines. A really, rough spot for them. And Mabitex, did not even get a
Pegou.
chance, just scavenge any sort of loot
Dá o tequinho de
coming
novo.
in. And even the same goes for Skylights Gaming. The way they just got caught off. And IHC do have that wry smile on their faces as TUF in real close proximities to DRS Delta. Very close to where the players of TUF are as Edgar just strikes in, gets a beautiful knock. Killer a little late
Caiu pro gás.
in trying to give in that cover fire, but Sar too low, taking damage from the zone. As Edgar might have dug his own coffin as Giante pushing in from the sidelines as Killer and Rules know that this is their fight.
Oh my
And
God.
indeed they take it in fashion as TUF
Que
are
sono da
sent
porra, vai
back to the
tomar no cu,
server,
velho.
getting eliminated at the 12th spot. And look where the circle is gone, Necro.
Caralho, se eu fosse a IHC, mano. Ah, eles estão bem ali, dá pra tancar. Mano, o Brasil ia ter muito time vivo ainda, gente. 28 cara vivo, mano. E aqui ia tá lotado de time. Só aqui ia ter uns 4 times aqui dentro. Cê é louco.
So yeah, I mean, as long as Woltrix is alive, my hope's alive too for them to take this one home. But yeah, it's quite a thin hope. Hopefully he's able to win this one. But right now, as godlike stalwart approaching the players of high voltage, of course the problems are being put up against their way. Top is being taken down way too low. Top has managed to find a little bit of trade on himself, as both of them are now way too low. Godlike Stalwart cannot continue on this path anymore. They will need to try and stop and patch himself up and maybe rethink how they really do want to execute this fight in general. High voltage, they of course do have the man advantage, and now they're also spreading themselves out a bit. Godlike Stalwart, this approach really needs to be clinical. This execution needs to be really perfect, but the nades are just hurting way too
Soninho
low.
pós-almoço bateu, hein?
Another nade is gonna find
Faz
opening,
parte.
and Top goes down. Godlike Stalwart, the wall of death as well approaching from the back. They cannot go for the res on the fallen player.
Oh my goodness, I mean, what are high voltage on right now? I do not know what they had for lunch, but they definitely been business. As Giante, spotting out Senior, and will just ship to the back of his vehicle, gets a beautiful knock. Wow, the cojones on this lad, and Senior just watching him stranded as DRS approach really close to IHC, which could be one of the pivotal fights. IHC is so well prepared. Alex with that grenade takes down
Ai,
by
ai.
his lonesome. IHC know that they've got this in the bag as just the nades keep pummeling down as Rules. The final member surviving the smoke, giving away his position as he's being pushed in by the god
Dormiu.
himself, as he will get taken down and perish
9 killzinha.
in the flames as
GG.
IHC is such a commanding spot. This is their game to lose, Necro. No caps.
It does seem like it is their game to lose. But again, with the way IHC have been able to rule that entire area, you can also say that there were so many third parties happening for that entire place. The players are IHC currently is dominating right now. If those third parties wouldn't have been the case, then IHC would have had some of the most biggest troubles to try and hold that place off. But yeah, as you said,
Essa é a top 3 partidas mais difíceis do mundo para Influence Gaming.
advantageous spot possible. I think so. A little bit of repositioning can definitely change a lot of things for Voltrix here, and he should try and do so. Maybe try and secure a better compound that he has currently available. But the players of Skylights Gaming, they're definitely going to be having their hands on their forehead because this is the drop spot of them, and they decided to rotate away from this one, and then later on they decided to come back inside La Cobreria where they got caught off guard.
Oh, I think, if I were Botrox, I wouldn't move a muscle because, again, where does he go? Because the moment he kind of steps out of his
He
compound,
is.
he's gonna get spotted out. At least at this point, considering IHC do have that high ground to themselves, as Regicide in real
Net ainda tá trabalhando nas
consistency.
plays, Caio?
Look at
Não,
Quantum Rage.
tá
They're
normal
really
já.
doing it.
Ontem,
Finally,
ontem na
they put
American
that
Star
elimination in
já,
place.
já
They know
bagaçou
exactly
já.
what they had to do. They took
Pingzinho
5 games
cravado.
to have themselves settled in.
Top.
Now have made it to the top 5. And indeed, maybe Tuntunaton could have spotted out players
Quem
of
assistiu
the
American
side.
Star ontem, mano,
But no,
aquilo ali que
I do
nós.
not think this
Aquele
is the
jogo ali,
right
aquilo que a Infi
direction to engage the
mostrou
battle,
ontem
or
ali.
maybe just
É
deploy
aquilo
that
que
smoke
era pra estar
will
acontecendo.
reveal so much of that information. And if Regicide are watching out,
Ooh.
which they did, Goku just gets shredded apart.
Yeah, some just tapping away, some precise taps onto Goku. Goku knocked out, but he should be able to be back on his feet. The problem for Quantum Rage is that they're way too far away from the circle, and the Guardian Angels of the circle right now on that side are the players of IHC. Just for a two-man squad that is already struggling way too much to deal with a big, giant team like IHC will be next to impossible. So how are Quantum Rage going to try to figure out a way around it? Yeah, definitely seems quite tough as well, because even Regicide is causing a lot of problems. I mean, they are giving quite a nice fight against them. They find another opening. Regicide, they're just being suppressed down over and over again.
Yep, and that's a concerning situation, especially when you're on the higher grounds. And in the meanwhile, IHC has all that information. They know exactly where Quantum Rage are. They know exactly where Regicide is positioned. Now they have to push inside the circle, and I do not believe they're gonna let that happen. In the meanwhile, Regicide's buzz just coming out with those grand finishes out there, something that High Voltage never really anticipated in the worst of their nightmares, and will have to pay that hefty price. Are
Yeah.
eliminated out of this game. In the meanwhile, Voltrox keeping the Pakistani dreams alive.
Oxe, a
Still
mesma
surviving.
tag.
Regicide in a prime position right now to fight it out.
T2,
I did not know against all adversities.
T20, XQ.
How have these
O
lads
time
pulled
da
it off,
frente é
Metro?
T20XR.
This is
Oxi.
way too interesting right now.
São
Because
dois
High
times,
Voltage
mano.
being taken away, Voltrix needs to make it inside the circle. And the only reason why I said Voltrix can definitely
Que
just
porra
try to
é
micro
essa?
adjust a bit over here is that I wanted him to cross over on the other side of this road. Because now things are way too tough. Because the circle is already shifted away, which was anticipated, and now Voltrix will need to cross out in the open.
Gente, quem quer assistir
How's he
American
gonna
Star
make that?
hoje, o
He
Legui
doesn't
tá,
even know
tá
someone's holding
fazendo
him
watch
off
party à
around, so
noite.
Voltrix really
Galera
doesn't
do
want his
camp, às 8
ground yet
horas.
to
O canal
zone,
dele
and
no
Voltrix can try to
YouTube.
pull this rotation off his
Quem
keep
quiser assistir
position
American
or
Star,
not.
ele tá
So
fazendo
he
watch
can
party.
never use any type of smokes, because that'll just give his position away, and that'll just blow his cover.
You know
So
what?
Voltrix needs to stay quiet.
I think nobody knows of his presence over there.
Yeah.
I think, Voltrox has to find that perfect, opportunity. Needs to thread
Yeah.
the needle, right? Has to
Yeah,
let
he's
IHC
there.
and Regicide just fight it out, and then might try to come in. But Alex having this prime position, Voltrox, little too impatient, and I have to just eat my words up.
4x2. O
And
cara não tem um
now it
close
comes
esquerdo
down to
aqui, ó.
just two. IHC really close into getting the chicken dinner. Already 11 eliminations and just two remain. Pass right in front of IC and Alex having this high ground situation. I think really comes down to what the other player of Regicide can pull off. Because look at this
Yeah.
flank angle he's created. If somehow he can sneak in, maybe get a knock or two, maybe
Se a
just
nova NA
he needs to
passar para
take down
PMGC, vão ter
Alex,
que trocar de
or
tag,
maybe
né?
Demo, or maybe
Eu acho que
Demo.
sim, velho.
Needs to deal with everybody, but that's not going to happen because Ashad, he's been dealt with, and IHC know where the final player is. It is all
It's
a
done.
last hurdle for them, and they clear it off. As IHC still maintain their steely demeanor, even after
GG
getting that
e
chicken dinner.
HC.
No smile on
Encostou
their
no top,
faces.
hein?
Finally
HC encostou no
someone
top.
just for a few moments, but again, IHC know the path ahead is long, and it is going to be hard. But still, a second
Ah lá, eles estão
position
em segundo,
is
ó.
not going to bother them, as now they are the winners of the final game of Miramar, ladies and gentlemen, for day number 1 of the PMPL SD Championship.
Dude, I hate the fact that I even thought about IT while making the prediction. I actually thought about IT. I was like, maybe I should go with IT, man.
Boa tarde,
But no.
Ferzote TV.
But at least he
Como
made
vai
it happen
ter
this game, right? At least they were
STS?
able to stay in the top 3, I guess.
Falando nisso, velho, vamos ver se saiu alguma coisa da PMGC que eu não vi? Não saiu nada, né, velho? Tipo de Este separado aqui. Ó, só saiu o PMGC só. 48 times, 4 semanas, 3 avançam para a final, 3 invite. Já tem 2 times na Grand Finals. E falta de PMGC Point só nós, só os brasileiros e as Championships que tem por vir. É só a gente olhar as vagas aqui, ó, pra ficar mais fácil, né? Américas tem 3. 3 Américas. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. É, vão ser 7 mesmo, rapaziada. Vão ser 7 mesmo, acho que não é 8 não. Tá sobrando 2 vagas aqui que eu não sei o que é não, hein. 4 milhões de dólares. Final na Indonésia. Essa liga aqui que eles não saíram. Não colocaram, tá ligado? PL Summer 2022. Tem mais uma vaga daqui, eu acho. Não, que já foi. Top 3 por regional quali. É isso, guys. Fechar a live. Vou fechar a live, chega. Bum. Lauzinho, Lauzinho. Jogando. Quem quer ver? Lauzinho. Jogando, ó. Reindicando o Lau. Calor da porra. Olha lá. Lauzinho.